Okay, let me try something. It's been a while since we've recorded, so I've got something, and we're at a distance now.
Yeah.
So far away. If I could walk 1,000 miles, and I would walk, or whatever. Proclaimers. Scottish. Yeah. They're Scottish. Yeah. So we're at a distance, but I wanted to see if these helped enhance the experience for me.
What?
Dude, that works actually. So I've got on, I don't know, if you're listening right now, you're going to be in a stupor. You have no idea what's going on. But I am wearing my The Hobbit. I shouldn't say that. The Hobbit. And Unexpected Journey 3D glasses. And buddy, really? I'm looking, and you're not 2D anymore, baby. You're popping right out at me. It's like you're sitting right across from me from real life. The only way that this episode could get any better is if they had some of these for your nose. Because then, my friend, smell-o-vision would be real, and you'd be able to enjoy this with me right here. You see what this is, my friend?
Yes, I see it.
This is Firelight Fables candles. This is an amazing promotion we've got going on here with Casey, the founder of Firelight Fable Candles. You got to go check them out. Go check them out on Instagram. Go check them out on their website. I'm going to take my 3D glasses off because they don't help with reading. I think I got a little problem now, but I'm going to try and fix that real quick. There we go. All right. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Casey, okay? Growing up, she was inspired by the tales of the Lord of the Rings, like virtually all of us, right? Her dad read The Hobbit to her sisters, and when she was very, very young. She played with action figures of the members of the Fellowship. She even dressed up as Legolas for Halloween, much like you, right? Isn't Legolas your favorite character?
That's my guy, yeah. Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah.
We do call you the flannel elf.
Secretly,
Flan elf, yes. Mm-hmm. She would wear the bow, the ears, everything. So she couldn't resist creating a candle line sought to bring to life how, some of these incredible places that Tolkien created. So she has actually a Middle-earth inspired candle line. There is 3 scents. This is the worst commercial of all time. There are 3 scents. There's the halflings and pipeweed, which smells like the Shire. That's what I'm burning right now.
That's what you got right there, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And if I could put these glasses on your nose or my nose or something, and I could take a sniff. Don't forget the sniffing. That kind of works actually. Yeah. If you think about it.
A little bit.
And I can actually read here too with these.
Okay.
This is a great visual. If people just go check this out.
Please go watch this video. Please, people.
And maybe we could put it on Instagram or something and tag her candle line.
Sure.
That kind of
I'm sure she'd appreciate this. Yeah.
No pain, no grain is what they used to say. Halflings and pipeweed. It literally, I'm getting grass clippings. I'm smelling a little bit of some tobacco remnants. I'm getting even like a little bit of oak woodiness, but the green scents come through. There's also City of Elves, which no joke smells like Rivendell, and there's also the Land of Shadow. I've gone on record. Okay, I got to take these off. I've gone on record before as saying that's my favorite scent, and it is incredible. Like I said, if Mordor smelled like that, then I don't know what the big fuss was all about. I would have camped out. I would have stayed there forever. But go check it out. And the really cool thing, if you're listening to this, then you're in the right place. Go to her website. Go buy some candles. Use the promo code FIREITUP. One word. Both of our lines in a code there. FIREITUP. All one word. And you get 10% off your order. Another beautiful thing about Casey's candles with Firelight Fables is the packaging. She does not spare any expense in when it arrives to you. I've talked about getting things in the mail before, how sometimes you get packages and then you get presents, right? Sometimes you get these things that arrive in the mail that feel like presents. And when Casey sends you a package, when you order from her, that's exactly what it feels like. You will not be disappointed. They're incredible. They're honestly, we haven't bought candles from anywhere else since. And you know how much we love candles in the Smith house. Yeah. So, go use the promo code, get 10% off. Go get some candles, buy some wick trimmers. You got to trim your wick. Okay? And I'm talking to you, Ezra. You got to trim your wick.
Yeah. I saw this the other day. On her story, there is literally a how to care for your candle. And I thought, I've been doing this wrong for so long. So it's critical, friends. It's critical.
We know if you're not trimming your wick, you're definitely not trimming that LBPT. But go check it out. Go order from her, and then go leave a really nice review. You know how it is in Middle Earth. There are trolls abound, and we are no stranger to that ourselves. We've gotten some nasty reviews. Everyone's getting nasty reviews now because everyone's home on the internet too much and making up problems. So go leave her some love because her candles are amazing. And you just got to remember to never, ever forget the
sniffing.
Oh, hey.
Hey.
What's up, uppers? We're done asking you. At this point, we're telling you. Okay? Just quit messing around. Quit messing around. Quit selling yourself short on energy. Quit drinking the water in Mirkwood. All right, we know what it does to you. Drink some real water, okay? And what I mean when I say real water, what I mean is some Dr. Bean coffee. Go check it out at drbeancoffeecompany.com. You don't have to get the Unexpected Podcast blend. I mean, would it be wonderful? Would you be patronizing us? Yeah. Would you be patting our oversaturated egos? I don't know. Is your ego over-patrified? Satrified?
Well, yeah. So is my lower back ponytail, but whatever.
Exactly, exactly. So to conclude this most appetizing commercial for Dr. Peen Coffee, Dr. Peen? Oh my gosh, Charlotte's going to kill me. Dr. Bean Coffee Company. Just go get some. In the words of Nike, just do it. And everyone's on the internet. I addressed this last commercial. Like, if you have a problem with Nike, just look past that, okay? Just look past it. It's a cool saying. They make some cool products. I know that they do some things that are wrong ethically, but everyone does, okay? Okay. Have a little bit of grace. Go get some Dr. Bean coffee. They treat everyone fairly. I promise you that. It is all fair trade coffee. It's all done the right way. And Upper is the co-founder and co-creator, and her name is Charlotte, and she's amazing. She's named after my daughter. Go support her. She's amazing. She follows her dreams. Gosh dang it. She follows her dreams, and so should you. And if you drink Dr. Bean Coffee Company, your dreams are going to be within without sipping's distance.
They'll be dreams. All right. This episode of An Unexpected Podcast is brought to you by Kayla Clifford. Thank you. Hello, friends, and welcome to An Unexpected Podcast. I'm Ez.
And I'm Lane.
And we're talking Tolkien.
Yes, we are. Good job, young man. We're coming to you from the Shire of America, the beautiful state of Ohio, in a little village called Amanda, and thanks to our very own set of Palantirs, wow, in the North Farthing, in Gandalf's hut.
Yeah.
That's you, Ez.
It's me. That's where we're at here. Yeah. But yeah, friends, you should go check out the old setup here. I mean, go look at the video version. I like what I did with my backpack.
Oh, it's beautiful. I like how the last video I saw, there was a backpack, and you somehow magically transformed that into an amp.
Yeah, it's an amp now. Yeah.
Was that in the bag the whole time?
The amp is not even supposed to be there. I just noticed that when I looked back. I was like, how did that get back there? It's supposed to be over here by the guitar, and it's not there. That's hilarious.
I thought the bag was kind of like a Baggins reference, so I was like, oh, I get it. It's like Lord of the Rings.
But it was like all out. When you saw that video, it was just all laying out.
It was open.
It's like, what is going on?
So instead of Baggins, it was a bag out. Yeah, so it makes sense. I get it.
It's ridiculous.
It was a bag end.
I also just realized I didn't even switch over my high def camera. So sorry, guys, a little blurry, but
Guys, this is his first time. Wow.
Amateur hour over here. It's been a while, so it is.
What a noob.
This week, though, things get a little murky, if you would believe it. Stuffy air, weird trees, black squirrels, white deers, spiders galore. This week, we're tripping in Mirkwood as we venture into Chapter 8, Flies and Spiders. I don't think you remember you wrote that, and that's
that's so good. That is so good.
Who's writing for the show?
I don't know, but the ghostwriter is awesome, bro. Like, whoever that is should be getting paid, man.
I know.
Wow. Okay, so I have a question, because we're from a part of Ohio. Well, we're from Ohio, okay? And so deer or deers? You know what I mean? Like, which one? You can say both, and no one's judging you. What's your go-to? Do you say deers?
Look at that deer
for plural.
And look at those deer.
Okay, so you're a proper human being.
I'm a proper guy.
All right. Even though I spent my first years in a big city in Chicago, and I do remember that. I was about 6 when we moved. My first memories were of the big city. I think I embrace the usage of deers. Yeah. Why not, man? Why not? Why not?
You're a Browns fan. You're a Browns fan.
Wow. That used to be an insult. As it's
shots
not anymore,
fired. Not anymore. Not anymore.
You know, and there are elves in Cleveland, just like there are elves in Mirkwood. My friend, it's been 3 months. Okay, I was thinking about this. I was out in the garage lifting weights before this, and sometimes, you know, I may pretend like I'm talking to you. It's something you know about, okay? You know about.
Yep.
They uppers did not, but now they do, and so you know, it's just out there now. And it hit me. I was like, I haven't seen in 3 months. I haven't seen you since Thanksgiving in person. Now we've Zoomed and stuff in between then, and called and texted and all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
but that's the longest we have gone without seeing each other since end of 2017.
Yes,
and I don't think outside of my family, I don't think there's anyone else, man, I can say that about. Because all of my other friends have moved out. They live in different places, or they were like my buddies from rugby, and I would go stretches of a couple months without seeing them when we weren't playing. So, but anyway, it's crazy. 3 months.
Been weird. It has been kind of crazy. And here's the thing is that if it were not for, all the COVID craziness that's going on, just all that stuff. Because we were on pace to kind of do a couple things, you know, at the
we were supposed to be done by now. We're supposed to be done by now.
I pretty much. It's just wild, you know. It's wild.
Yeah.
This will tell you the seriousness. I just got my first round of COVID vaccine shot. Yeah. So I was able to get that, and it's just like, think about this, man. Like a year. What was it? Just we're coming up on a year ago.
Yeah.
When this whole thing hit, and so it's just been wild. It's been honestly wild. Yeah. But unexpected.
Yeah. Very unexpected. Yes. Yeah. And really, what did I think we even talked about this? Numbers were starting to go up, and it was, the weather was becoming winter, right? And so people were getting more sick anyway. There were a lot of cases at your school, a lot of cases at my school, and at first we just thought,
at my school.
Yeah. And at first we just thought, we were like, well, we'll just. I think what wasn't our mentality at first? We were like, well, we're both going to be in school, so whatever you get, I'm going to get. And then, you start hearing about like a vaccine, and they're like, well, should we just like do this remotely until, we
like how
get
close
that?
are we?
Yeah. Like, and then because there, we have high risk members in our family, and that's who we mostly think about, and Sarah may be pregnant, you never know. You never know. So, so like, that's the thing. And, you mentioned you got your first. I'm getting my first shot in like a week. Next Saturday, I think, is when I get mine. So we'll try to get back to doing this remotely whenever we can. It's just like life's been busy, man.
Well, life's been busy.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Here's the thing. I'll say this. Keep it secret. Keep it safe. There's some things you have to keep secret and you have to keep safe. For a time being, okay. So let a wizard keep his secrets. All right. I already took everything off my shelf, and I showed you guys everything on my shelf. It's over on Patreon. You guys can check that out. But the wizard's shelves. Emphasis on the elves.
Was a shelf euphemism there, or was that like literal? Or are you actually talking about your shelves?
I
took everything off your shelves.
I don't know. I
don't know where my mind's going. Sorry, man.
I don't either. Wow. I just got it. I'm just now catching up. That classic me. Like I go back and forth between, being sort of a Gandalf wizard and a Radagast. Don't know where my what's at most of the time. So
staff.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, but yeah. So I got things going on. I got a lot of things going on in my, like, a lot of things. In particular, one thing that's really super important, and it's been crazy. So we've been having some very unexpected, pretty big talks. Lane and I have
big time.
Big
time. Yeah, and sometimes stuff. Too. It's and we appreciate. Oh my gosh! So a couple things have been going on. I was able to sit down the other day, and up until this point, I haven't had a whole lot of time to, between all the different things we're doing, like sit down and respond to like emails that we get. Yeah. And so I was able to a couple weeks ago sit down and respond to some Bywater Post emails that we've gotten, and just some different correspondence through there that are just a lot of times just saying hi, saying thank you, things like that. And it was moving, man. It was moving because we hadn't recorded for a couple months, and I was blown away by people's kind words, by people continuing to find the podcast, like that are just now starting on, like they didn't know about it before, or weren't looking for a Lord of the Rings podcast prior to, like 2 weeks ago, and they found us and started listening. And it's just an amazing thing. Like, and you're starting to, and you've talked about this for a while, but just the like the lag or the echo that kind of continues, because we've gone through Lord of the Rings, like we've done it once, and that's always there. And so people are going to stumble into that and find that and discover it anytime, and that's a cool thing. And so it always feels fresh that way. But what people had to say, and their kind, it was super uplifting on that day. And so I felt like, you know what, I should try to respond to as many of these as I can, and just say thank you for, your Tolkien story. Thank you for your kind words and the compliments we don't deserve, but what definitely motivate us and inspire us to continue recording and talking about Tolkien's works in our own, in our own special commentary. A couple hobbits, not experts, not professors, not sitting in the prancing pony, just here in the Shire. Open to everyone's ideas, open to everyone's stories and input, and learning from one another. And literally, like in the Green Dragon, just people coming in from lands far off, some with great knowledge, others with great questions, and having conversations about a wonderful story and universe. And so I was moved by that. And I like, it was unreal. It was unreal. But it's crazy because there's just a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot. I don't know where I was going with that, but just thank you for all of you who've reached out to us. Some people have been worried about us, right? You've got some people who are worried about you,
right?
And like me. And here's what I'm going to say. It's if we're not on social media, then we're doing fine.
That's right.
Like if you're not seeing posts, you and I both. I'm going to say this. You and I both experienced something about a year ago.
Yep.
And actually, people in our lives experience this as well through us.
Yes. Yep.
And nobody knows how many people were involved in this. Within our circles that were involved in this process, right? Or this whatever, this thing that happened.
Yep.
And really what it did for me anyway, it cemented like my desire to get off of social media. That when this whole lockdown happened, I think some people, and I feel bad for people who felt the need to kind of become, I don't know. I don't know if misuse social media is the right term, because I don't know how many benefits social media really has, but just to kind of use it as a way to You've seen it. You've seen a lot of people just get kind of nasty.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that's sort of in a lot of ways made my mind up for me that I don't want to post as much. I don't want to check it as much. I'll leave my things up there. Like I'll leave my Facebook profile and my Instagram and stuff, but to be active on it anymore, it's just, and if that's what you're into, that's also awesome. That's great.
Oh,
but,
yeah, sure.
If you don't see me posting, it means that I'm living in the moment, that I'm not worried about taking pictures of everything and posting everything, and it's a good thing. And I think probably for you too, right? Is that kind of...
Yes, and that's the thing. I mean, honestly, people who follow my social media will know, like, it's once in a great while that the Flannel Wizard will actually post any actual image or tweet anything. I'll retweet stuff, and I go on there and check a few things. I really do think it comes down to how you use it. And so I know some folks were kind of like, didn't see us. We hadn't posted on the pod, so it was kind of the core. It was both. We hadn't posted on the podcast, plus social media had gone kind of dormant and cold. Which for us is a good thing. But I also want to remind folks too that it's been a crazy time. It's a pandemic. We have, and I'm just some folks are gonna catch up this and find it years from now, and that's fine. It was just capsule. Fine, right? Time capsule. But for folks who are kind of keeping up right now, I mean, sincerely though, our job, Lane and I are both teachers, and everyone has their day job and other things like that. I think sometimes people think we do this maybe more than part-time like we do this podcast, and it's like we really don't. We're actually recording this at 11 o'clock at night, you know what I mean? So like
on a Friday night.
So we just a little behind the scenes there, because we really are busy, and Lane knows, just from me being in kind of like special education, sometimes I go through stints like a month or a month and a half where
IEP time.
I'm all bogged down in writing that I just, guys, you wouldn't, it's hard to explain when you go through those waves what that's like. And then there's a month where I'm like, wow, I get rejuvenated, all that work is done, and then I'm just recharging for the next big wave that's coming. And that's everyone and everyone's jobs and things like that. But I think sometimes when you're only hearing two guys on here talking about Lord of the Rings, sometimes people, might forget. It just gets busy sometimes. It's all it is. So there's that. And then, I mean, it sucks. I think regardless of whether you're using social media or you're talking to somebody face to face, I think this world needs a bit more kindness, grace, and understanding. And that's something we're kind of, hinting at, it just in regards to, it can make you kind of go, you know what, is it worth, if a stressor enters your life, and you can control whether it's there or not. Yeah. Right? I mean, if social media is the stressor and you can say, no, I don't need that stressor, I'm going to cut it out. And just it's individual based, like person by person, that's everyone. I mean, some people it's different. So I don't know.
And for me, honestly, I like, especially in this time of being a little more like isolated from people, like, social media was one of those things where it was like, man, there's so much negativity. Like I'm the kind of person too. I'm a natural introvert, so I'm kind of like a vampire. Like, to have positivity, I gotta feed on it. I gotta be around it a lot of times, because when you're introverted, you kind of go inwards and you deal with a lot of like junk within yourself, and you see flaws within yourself that you want to try and want to you want to make better, right? You know what I mean? And then sometimes that can cause you to look negatively. I have my own issues with negativity, so I don't need to see it from anybody else. Like, I don't, and I don't want to be judged myself. So in that sense, I don't like judging other people. I love to give people the benefit of the doubt. Everybody. I'm just now in my job starting to kind of like really have to like look at attendance seriously, right? So like that's even something that I've had a lot of great, like, I know it's a crazy time. My class is all online. I know it's not easy to do class, and it's like I'm just now at the end of February starting to go, hey everyone, I really need you to attend as many Zooms as possible. If you can't be there, please let me know. Otherwise, I have to actually start marking you absent. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's just one of those things. So that and then also just on top of, you talked about, you go through seasons within your teaching job, and every job's like that. But I'm starting to, like, the last couple months, I've definitely experienced like a bit of, I've told you, like a bit of depression, man. Just being one of, like, if I didn't have Sarah, I'd be going nuts. Like, me and Sarah are the only two in our school doing teaching the way that we are. We're the only two left that are all online. I talked about attendance issues. There's all kinds of stuff as a teacher, and I'm not even a very good teacher, but just as just knowing how school is supposed to go, or like hopes you have, or even just certain like projects that I would normally do, or ideas that I would have that are so hard to fit into the square hole when I'm holding this round peg that I don't often wish time away, and I hate being like that. But I'm ready for next year. Like, I'm ready to be in a classroom with my kids again, like feeding off that energy. Like, I just realized this week, that I don't know what, like, at this point, kids' dream jobs. Like little kids, because they talk about it all the time. Yes, they do.
Yep.
And there's all that extra conversation you get to have with kids, which is my favorite part of school. And I was like, dang, man. And a couple of things prompted this, but I was like, I don't know their dream jobs. I was like, I'm going to make an assignment. I'm going to find some videos. We're going to talk about it. I even like took my picture. I have my picture from when I was in like first or second grade, just to remember that. And I have Sarah's picture that she was little, to remember that we were all little once. Yes. I put my picture under the dot cam, and I pretended like I was my second grade self, and I was like doing a little kid voice talking about my dream jobs. I wanted to be a professional baseball player. I wanted to write kids books and illustrate, and I wanted to be a teacher, and not, saying it's okay to have more than one dream job, and that, like everyone, like some people are going to tell you can't do certain things, but your teacher's never one of those. Like this teacher right here is never one of those people. And like that kind of stuff is what I miss from being in, like that stuff I would have known way back in October. And they're just in the same way that there's a lag in regular lessons on Zoom. I feel like there's been a lag to this whole year. And it's just been one of those, it's always difficult this time of year as a teacher. The weather is crummy. You're kind of over winter. There's a dip in performance, and kids don't feel like it's just the middle. The middle is hard to get. We were talking about this chapter. Like a lot of people love this. A lot of people love this chapter. This chapter was kind of hard for us to get through. It felt sort of like, geez, man, like good thing the ring was around. Like how many times in this universe are you going, thank God for the ring, right?
Yeah,
like,
for the one ring,
without
baby.
the ring, this story ends here, right? Bilbo's dead. The dwarves are cooked. Like it's over.
Right.
So anyway, it feels like the middle that's never going to end. But I often think about Sam's words, right? See it through.
Yeah.
To see it through. That the journey doesn't end here. I won't bid the stars goodnight. No, I won't say the day is done nor bid the stars farewell. And that's, I keep holding on to my beautiful family, my friendships, my family, time with you, man, when I get it. And spring's coming, that kind of a thing. But yeah. So anyway, I've kind of felt uninspired in a lot of ways. And so I haven't been, personally, I've told you this. I'm not like, hey, Ez, you want to do an episode? Hey, Ez, you want to talk about the show? Like I'm not, I haven't felt that way. So.
Yeah, and I think
there it is.
No, there it is. I think that's fine. And it really, to be very frank, a lot of it goes all the way back to 1 year ago. Really, to be really frank about it. So there's just something when oh man, I don't know how much we want to say about this without coming up with code words. Right. It's just like I'm holding up the red. Yeah.
When you do good things and you really do work your hardest to consider everybody's. I don't know. Like I think 99% of the people who listen to this podcast really do know what kind of people we are, and there's always a few who are gonna this is just terrible podcasting, isn't it? I just need to shut up, dude. But who are going to feel like entitled, and I don't even think entitled is the right word. Who are just going to try to find something wrong with you and invent things when they can't. And when trust is broken like that with people you consider friends, then there's a little bit of what's the right word? There's a little bit of what's the word? Oh crap. Disillusionment. There's a little disillusionment where you just kind of feel you hear people reach out to you and be like, man, love what you're doing. Love the book club. Thanks for your hard work and all these things. And you wonder, is there something you could find that you didn't like about me that would change your opinion? It's kind of always in the back of my head now a little bit. So there's that.
No, and that's the thing is that, like, honestly, the whole point is that it's just, again, we're two guys in Ohio, run a little podcast. We get our books out. We enjoy it. We have fun, and we set up to be a fun community. And we want folks to have a good time. But it is hard when something that when we know we're doing our very best, and you face these things. So the phrase "see it through" is a good phrase, and it's something I think a lot of people, because whether it's this little project or it's your job or you're coming under fire for whatever it might be out there in the world, and that it's maybe not fair or it doesn't seem right or whatever it may be, I think see it through in the long run. My father often would say to me that this is a race run, that life is a race run with patience. And that if you watch a man and you watch him long enough, you can look at one sliver, you can look at one conversation, you can look at one message and say, there we go. We got him. We got him right there. But you then measure that by their entire life. And you look at an entire work. One blemish on the Mona Lisa or some great artwork, right? When we if you look real close, wow, looky right there, we can see where the greatest artist of all time, he messed up in this one spot. But then you step back and it's a masterpiece. And I'm not saying that our lives are masterpieces, but I think life itself is a masterpiece, and we're all in that together. And it's not perfect, and it doesn't always work like we think it should. But when you step back and at the end of your life's journey, you want to have lived as much of it as you can in the light and doing the best that you can. That's why I come up with we say those words, which is forgiveness. We talk about grace. We talk about having just some perspective. And it's like, that is, so I think, to be honest, Lane, we have a podcast where we talk about all these great, awesome themes and lessons that come out of this. And we didn't make any Tolkien references, but this story's taught me that everything I just said right there, it has taught me that all the stories that I read and that we as teachers talk about and we try to kind of communicate to our younger learners, that's what we want. And sometimes it's heartbreaking when we don't see it in adults and they haven't learned the lesson yet. Yeah. And that's okay, because we're all on our own journey. I think it's at some point we don't know where everyone's arc and story is going to end up at, but it's just like, it's almost amplified because of the pandemic and because of everything else going on. You're like, what?
I think there's just a lot of crazy. There's a lot of hastiness. Honestly,
there you go. It's a good word.
And I think, well, you brought it up. I mean, you brought it up by, what were we texting the other day or something? And you were talking about, like, am I being too hasty? And we were joking around about it, but I think because grace was one of the words that's in my head. There's a lack of grace. Yeah. There's a whole butt ton of judgment, and with ignoring planks in your own eye to find a speck or to find a blemish on the Mona Lisa. Like, we all have things that are not right within ourselves. But it's an easy time to just sort of like shout people down instead of learning or practicing, I guess, like a little bit of patience. You've always said that. I remember back in college where we would have times where you I mean, I've seen people get upset with you and you just stay silent. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
And I've always been inspired by that because my knee jerk reaction is to just fight. I'm a bulldog. Like, remember what I've told you.
Yep.
And you've seen me like not to people, but reacting to certain things, just within our friendship and our life where, you know, it's almost like a some sort of release I have to have that I you know, I share it with people who are close to me who aren't going to judge me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you've always been so good at, under fire, staying calm, and staying like, I don't know, strong through silence. And we need more of that. I think we need more of just let's calm down here. Let's stop and think about what we're saying before we say it, instead of just spewing stuff out there. So a little more discretion too. I think people need a little more discretion. But anyway, I mean, look at us, hastiness.
Yeah. Let me say one more thing, because you did. People need to know this about Lane. I said this in my Wizards shelves, which you should go check out. Lane is my brother, and honestly, sometimes like one of my flaws and shortcomings is I don't always speak my mind quick. I'm almost a little, you look at Treebeard sometimes and you think, man, just spit it out, like just come out and get to it. Sometimes I'm a little too laid back. I'm a little too just sort of like, all right, let me. Because it's my default, it's my go-to, But you got to know when there's a line and when it's time to say enough is enough. Quite frankly, I mean, people are probably wondering where this is all coming from.
I know
a couple months ago.
This is such a nice detox. Like I feel like we're getting some demons out. But like how long has it taken us? Like don't be hasty. Don't be hasty.
Don't be hasty.
Yeah.
So I'll say it, just so folks know too. Personally, for me, where this is coming from, about 2 to 3, I think around 2 to 3 months ago or whatever, as your flannel wizard was under siege a little bit on social media, and I left. For what reason, I have no idea. I have a mysterious individual who decided to stalk me. I have no idea what. I mean, it was it was wild. It was wild. It comes out of nowhere, and so it's discouraging a little bit. And so that's where we're coming from. And I was blown away by it.
Yeah,
so,
it's just sort of it's more annoying. Yeah, it's more annoying than anything. And again, people who don't like when we go long are probably just fast forward. But for a lot of people, from your messages, from your emails, it's evident that you do care about us as people, that you want to know what's going on in our lives. Otherwise, you wouldn't be reaching out saying, "You guys okay? Are you like there hasn't been an episode for 3 months? Is everything all right?" So that's honestly, we're dealing with remnants from something that happened, a good while ago. We're never going to name names. We're never going to throw people under the bus. We're never going to detail exactly what has happened, even though we've talked about it before. But that's part of it too. That's something that, as we're very honest, I feel like we're pretty transparent, and we want to communicate things that are going in our lives that would affect the podcast. And
absolutely,
we've just detailed all of them there. So for there's been some things that have either remnants of things or new things that have happened over the past couple months that have sort of tried to steal the joy. But my friend, my Lord, I'm not calling you Lord. I'm just saying it's
Go
my
ahead
friend,
now.
comma, my Lord. I feel that passion again right now.
Yeah.
And just I don't know, just getting to talk to you. So
I know. Hey. Good things are coming too, though, because, we talked about a lot of negativity. Some of the things happening in my life and in your life are, let me tell you, we got some. Look at them glasses, man. That's so ridiculous. We got some really cool stuff going on, and I'm really happy about it. And I hope that, I love hearing from you guys, too, on social media, even if it's just like, we need more positivity on social media. Quite frankly, the reason I post some of my crazy Instagram stories and stuff like that is because I think they're funny and I think they're fun, and music.
They bring joy.
Yeah, and music brings me life. I kind of love to share my musical interest and things that I like. And so I hope more people are doing that and amplifying the positivity and the good and really trying to bring more light and joy into the world, because I think we need it. I really think we need more of it. And so, but we do have good things going on. And so But some of those we got to keep secret. I mean, there's a couple secrets we still got to, the wizards, holding back on here. But don't worry.
Exclusive is the new sexy, baby. You know what I'm saying? Just keep it exclusive.
Not a word I ever thought I'd associate with myself.
The unattractive podcast.
Oh, my God.
All right. Well, that was a long, quick counsel, but we do feel like we not that we owe it to you guys, but we want to share what's going on in our lives. Good Lord, that's what these stories are all about. Like, if you can't appreciate that, you might be reading the wrong books. Dropping eaves, as I've almost kind of broken our one rule of maybe being a little semi-negative. I think it's been like realistic. Sometimes I think realism and negativity get sort of blurred together falsely. But I might just go ahead and get negative here.
I would just go ahead and backtrack on everything we just said.
I just dropping eaves. I'm dropping the dropping eaves, man. Yeah. I'm ready for this show. I'm ready for a poster. I'm ready for a teaser trailer. Lord, I would be satisfied with a blurry photo from set.
Right.
But there is nothing. And you know how contrarian I can be. Like now that I'm starting to see more and more people speculating, more and more people commenting, more and more people saying, well, we know this. If you look at the... and I don't know if they sound like this, so this is just my imagination.
That's going on in Lane's head.
It's a compliment. This voice is a compliment. All right. If you look at the reports of the casting, this actor cannot be so and so. They have to be. Have you read the Silver Alien? I just think all the highbrow crap in the world of Middle Earth is starting to come out, and that's when I think, you know what? Call me when I can click on Prime and watch the show. And then I'll comment on it with my brother. But until then, maybe no more speculation. Maybe no more, Just, you know what? If you want to know what's going on, I don't even know if the show's actually happening, if I can be quite frank. Because, like, good Lord. Okay, here you go. I'm making an SOS to anybody living in the country of New Zealand. I know you're locked down. Okay? Yeah. I know that you can't leave. I know how many people live in that country. There's only 4 million of you. There's only 4 million. Get out of Auckland. Go find them. Take a picture.
Yep.
Take a picture. Something, anything. Take a picture of the back of a chair and send it to us. Please.
Yep. Dial up to the internet. Yep.
Please. Go to that. Connect through the wires that go the bottom of the ocean.
Yep.
And send it our way, please. Like anunexpectedpod at gmail.com, because I want something to talk about. Like, I want something that's no longer fabricated, no longer speculated about. I want something. If you want the best place I can point you for hints that I found is getting on Instagram and following the actors and actresses. Don't pay attention necessarily to their their camera roll. Go to their stories.
Yep.
They are posting images, even if it's just like, hey, I'm in the woods in New Zealand and there's a bunch of ferns. You're getting hints of what part of the island they might be. Who was it? Oh my gosh. I want to say it was either Morfid or Emma Horvath. Mm-hmm. Posted the other day of a story, and it literally looked like Coromandel. These cliffs, which there's all kinds of these the problem with New Zealand, not the problem, the wonderful thing, but the problem when you're trying to figure out, okay, where are they, pinpoint them, is you can go 10 feet in a certain direction and look like you're in another part of the world. It's an amazing thing. So they're posting stuff, and you can kind of guess where it might be, but they're not geotagging anything. They're putting it in their stories so that it disappears, so that you can't go back and look. Yeah, you can't say, where was Ismael Cruz Cordova on Tuesday of 3 weeks ago. It's not there.
Nope.
But it's really cool. You're starting to see, like, in his story, he just posted something recently where he was wearing a Maori carving on his neck. So all these little hints that they are still in New Zealand, they are still filming.
Right.
And honestly, their secrecy, I think, is probably a huge benefit, or is benefiting greatly from being locked down. And from,
yes, it is.
Yeah. I mean, I just out of curiosity, we've been getting the travel bug lately, and Sarah and I was like, how much do you think it would cost to fly to New Zealand right now? You can't.
No.
You literally can't. If you go on to buy tickets, it's unavailable. You cannot fly into New Zealand.
Locked down.
And I think that, they're locked down, and they are just it. I'm sure there will be a great behind the scenes story, or behind the BTS footage someday.
Yeah.
But right now, man, it is torture. And the fact that all these clickbaiters and trollers are coming in with their theories and their inside information, they don't have any. Okay, let me just tell you, they don't have any. People at the oneclickbait.net don't have insiders on New Zealand because they can't get there. Okay, and they haven't been able to get there for 6 months. Yeah. And I haven't seen any photos. I haven't seen any legitimate things anywhere. It would be all over Nerd News if it was.
Our luck, it's coming out tomorrow before we can release this episode.
And let's eat crow in advance. Just go check out their stories. I find that is the most beneficial thing. You're kind of seeing their experience in New Zealand through little snips. They're actually really, really fun because you can see like what. Oh my gosh, what were they doing? I think someone even like went to a wedding and was posting a wedding they were at in New Zealand. So they're making friends. And I think about a lot of the crew members are they've got to be Kiwis because they're in Auckland. They have a huge, probably like 500,000 people who work in the film industry. So like what, an eighth of their population are probably in film and TV and stuff. So in some capacity or another, everyone knows someone who worked on Lord of the Rings. Like that was something that we talked with Shane about way back when we interviewed Shane. And Tammy, I'm sure would say the same thing. So, they're making friends. They're enjoying their time in New Zealand. They seem like I've even seen pictures or in stories of it was Ishmael Cruz Cordova, and dang it, dude, here you go, talking about it for 3 years and I can't remember an actor's name. One of the other guys, and they were just you could tell they were probably driving to a location in a rental car together, listening to music in the car. So they're sitting there bonding. It's just, and again, like the one thing I'm looking forward to is hearing about all the friendships that come out of this. That's the theme with these stories always is friendships, and to think about how they're getting along and the memories they're having is kind of cool. So
yeah. This would be a fun. Here's something funny to think about. As Lane started on the Dropping Eaves, and as like the beginning and the ending of his conversation, it's so hilarious. So remember, this is a comedy podcast, by the way, too. So please remember, this is totally a comedy podcast. Absolutely. But if you go back to 3 years ago when Lane started talking about Dropping Eaves, if you just only clipped out the Dropping Eaves and you put them all together and you just sped through it fast forward and you just saw this evolution of 3 years.
Or de-evolution. Yeah.
It's so crazy. I think what people would realize, like, he's gone mad. He's lost. He's like the Mad Hatter. Because it is maddening. It is maddening because it's been so long. I said to you, before the show, I said, it's not coming out this year. It might not come out in 2022.
I know.
And if it is, it's going to be late. Late. I don't.
Yeah.
That's my belief on it. I mean, they're really taking their time, major secrecy. And I'm comparing it to like the Wheel of Time show, which is an Amazon show, that they are they're way further ahead. And
there's more stuff going on. Yeah.
Seemingly.
And that's the other thing too. Maybe even though you'd think, okay, they have everything they need there, maybe there is some kind of limitation. Maybe they are having to, maybe things like everything in TV and film right now is very bogged down because of procedural stuff. We see it in schools. You see it in your jobs.
Yeah.
Social distancing and masks and excessive testing and all this stuff, right? So maybe that is really, truly like a process that's already slow or already kind of cumbersome and a lot of waiting, at least, traditionally with filmmaking and working on big TV shows. Maybe that's only amplified by what's going on. Maybe it's not as idyllic as we're like theorizing. Yeah, that would be great. Actually, you could just clip the very first time we talk about the show and then that last one.
Right.
And I think that would be fantastic.
The evolution of dropping
the de-evolution. I feel like Charlie Day in Always Sunny in Philadelphia when he's in the mailroom and he's like, he's trying to figure out whose mail it is.
Yeah.
The one cool thing, so just little tidbits, I guess. The one cool thing that I do know for sure is that we had speculated before about J.A. Bayona. Was he going to direct more episodes? I think he is officially now an executive producer. So he directed the first 2 episodes, and they loved what he did. You know, we heard everyone raving. We heard Morfydd Clark saying, saying, it's mind-blowing what he's done. His vision is incredible. People are going to be blown away. It's jaw-dropping. We come to set every day, and our jaws drop. Not drawers. That's the whole that's the whole nudity bend. But their jaws drop.
Okay.
Maybe both. I don't know. So anyway, I don't think this was the original plan for him to be an executive producer, but he's done so well and impressed everyone that they've kept him on in that role to kind of help shape the show going forward as well. Another cool thing, Viggo Mortensen recently spoke about the show. You know, everyone's asking, there's nothing to talk about, so everyone's like, let's go ask all the cast members from Lord of the Rings what they think of the show. And like, are they going to be in it? Are they going to watch it? Are they going to watch it together?
Right.
Is Orly and Katie going to go hang out with Viggy and Mary? What's the guy's name? Dom. Is Billy going to be there? But he commented, he said, this show will be worth watching because of J.A. Bayona. He said, he's a creative. This is another cool thing. Like, Viggo lives in Spain right now. He's living in Spain. Okay. J.A. Bayona is, I believe, Spanish. So he's a native son of Spain, and Viggo as well. He's very familiar with J.A. Bayona's work, and so he says, if for nothing else, because of his involvement, this show will be great. So you've got the endorsement from the King of Gondor, which is pretty cool. That's all I really got about Dropping Eaves, my friend. I mean, I'm excited for more stuff when it does come out. I'm looking for. We'll be checking our mailbox for any Kiwi listeners that want to send us blurry photos of. Okay, I should clarify, blurry photos of production.
Got it. Got you.
So Ezra,
good clarification.
Okay.
All right. I'm I'm not a Kiwi. So anyways, wow. Yeah.
But that's that.
That's Dropping Eaves. And it's it's changed. It's whatever. It's I'm still excited, but at the same time, I am kind of just like, you can only talk so much about nothing for so long.
Exactly.
And that's not a diss on them. That's just literally
it's not. It's actually, dude. It's actually a huge compliment to them. Like, I did not think that they would be able to keep this as tightly wrapped up as they have. It's incredible. But in terms of, and I hate saying covering because we're not like reporters. None of these people are. All right. None of these, unless you work for an actual reporting agency, you're not a reporter. Okay. Whatever. I'm not bitter. I think it's annoying. Just call yourself what you are. You're a failed actor.
I'm reporting on the state of this room right now. Okay.
Right.
It's dirty up in here. All right.
It's dirty up in here. But we have been talking about this show. That's what I'll say. I won't say covering. We've been talking about this show for 3 years. That's a long time. It's a long time. And we'll just comment on stuff as it comes.
Comes out. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Here we go. Couple things. We're ready to move into this chapter.
Let's do it, baby. I mean,
I told you.
I told you an hour.
It's only been an hour. It's right. But we're always trying to break the record of like longest quick counsel / Dropping Eaves combo, and we'll say it. And we'll say it over and over. Anyway, I was reading this chapter, and I told you I am not. Yeah. This chapter is the longest chapter. I am not opening this. Okay. I am not going line by line. I'm going to talk to you guys about what has happened. I would like to hear a too long didn't read, if you wouldn't mind. Tell me, just in your you didn't mean you had to open it.
Right.
I didn't mean
two words. I got your too long didn't read right here. All right. And I want to make a vow. I won't read excessively. but I have quite a few like little notes in the margins. Can I read those?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Because we always say it's always me. It's always me that drags us down into the minutia.
It's great,
and I'm gonna rise above it. I'm gonna give you your too long didn't read for this entire chapter. Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
2 words. Addercop Tom Noddy.
Wow.
That's all you need to know about this chapter. Addercop Tom Noddy.
Okay.
Addercop Tom Noddy. Tom Noddy. Yeah. That's all you need to know.
Okay.
Are they singing again? I hate when they sing.
Are they rapping too? What's going on? Are they wrapping this up or what's going on?
These guys suck. Yes, I think Addercop Tom Noddy is exactly all you need to know. Like they are. Here's your too long didn't read. They're lucky they didn't die. I mean,
they are so lucky.
If it wasn't straying off the path, and the spiders, and the elf ghosts that didn't get them, like, and then where's Gandalf?
Okay. No. My question is. What I wanted to start this whole thing off with is, where's Radagast? And I asked that question in a very just simple, I actually wanted to know where he was. And I turned to the internet, which is not something I normally do.
Never do that,
right? I go and I type in, where was Radagast?
That could be the new, what would Aragorn do, is where was Radagast?
I'm telling you.
That's the new.
Do not type it in. It will fire you up. Because I was so mad. I could not believe how could Radagast have abandoned Manwë's mission for the Istari and blah, blah, blah. I mean,
really?
Whoa. That's what I was saying. Wait, people were going down these tangents about like there's Reddit threads on it. Radagast just forsook their order. I'm like, guys, what are you talking about?
Yeah, like, first of all, chill out. He's a fictional character. Lay off him for one.
Leave him alone.
He's not even real and you're beating him down. For 2, are you going to, if you're going to talk trash about anybody, how about Saruman? Is it Saruman or is it Sorry Man, my friend? Or is it Sour Man? I don't know which one it is.
All 3.
All 3 in one. But if anyone deserves trash talking, it's him. Okay, these are the same people on this little Reddit chain thread.
Yeah. Lane hasn't seen it, but it's the same.
Okay, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Whatever that is. These are the same people who would go find St. Francis and be like, that dumb guy only cared about animals.
Right.
What a jerk caring about nature. Screw him. Like, that's what they would say. There?
Yeah. No, and I literally, it came from a place of like, I wonder if Radagast could have came to their aid during this time, being in like southern kind of Mirkwood area, possibly, and stuff. And
so I do have it's a curious question because I don't know. I just realized I don't know. Where is Radagast's home? Does he live in Mirkwood?
I think he does. I think he's actually south of, I think he's in the southern
south of that road they took the path?
Dol Guldur down there, buddy. I mean, he's not too far away.
Oh, crap. Yeah. I forgot that Dol Guldur is in. Yeah, I need to pull up my map.
So, yeah.
Yes.
I actually have let me see here. I
have a map in the doc. Oh, did you find one too? That was good.
Check this out. I'm gonna put a link in here for you in the doc. And,
also, isn't it crazy how close Dol Guldur? I can't even say that word. Dol Guldur is to Lorien. It's like right across the river.
Doggone door. Okay. Yeah, I know it is. It's right there. So, hey, check this out. So, go to where it says summary in our doc underneath the map there. And I put another link. It says thinglink.com. I kid you not. That's what it says.
And what am I going to be seeing?
What are you clicking on?
What do you click on? When I click this.
This is a 7th grader who made a 7th grader.
Oh, sweet.
Plotted these points for a 7th grade. Like, they read The Hobbit. It's sick. It is so
That's
cool.
Awesome.
It's the major stopping points. You can kind of click on, and when you hover over the map, you get these images and boxes and stuff. It's really, really kind of cool. But anyways, there's a map. Your map, though, is better. It shows Dol Guldur. It shows all of that. And people have estimated roundabout where they think Radagast is at. Because, again, what we read about in the start of this chapter, and I'm doing, again, like I told you guys, my big impressions and takeaway from this, I even listened to it right before Lane called me to do this episode again, and I was just like, what in the? I mean, like, too much darkness, too many spiders, too many cobwebs. It's a dark, creepy forest. Okay.
As first of all, nobody likes an overachiever. Okay, so I listened to it right before Lane called, and I studied it thoroughly. Yeah, I still found that,
and I still won't open the book till go actually page by page on it because it is very long.
It is long,
but like the old this Mirkwood, if you will, the old forest, whatever.
Did you? I can't remember if we've talked about this yet or not, but did you get? I think we did at the begin or at the end of last chapter. Did you get major old forest vibes?
Oh yeah,
from Mirkwood, and I thought to myself, like, was this an idea when he wrote Lord of the Rings? Did he go back and think, because we didn't get any old forest, even though we kind of talked way back when that they would have probably had to go through at least parts of it or around it, but it wasn't even discussed in the earlier part of the Hobbit, right? The old forest isn't even really mentioned, if I remember correctly. And so I thought to myself, like, is this something he came back to? Was he like, you know what, I want to do that again, and play with it in a little different way, but make this old forest very Mirkwood-esque, and for it to kind of, because if you think about it, it's the same kind of vibe, right? Like they almost die. They're saved by like a mystical creature. Tom Bombadil in lieu of like Thranduil and the elves.
Yes.
It's like, if it wasn't for who wakes up out of the stupor, isn't it Frodo? If it like wasn't for Frodo snapping out of it, they would have been goners. You know, same thing with Bilbo. If Bilbo didn't have his wits, they would all be gone. And so it's it's a Baggins who saves them from demise in this forest. And that's a very like fairy tale thing. That's a very English thing. Like, that's a part of the mythology, is these forests where you go in and sometimes people never come out.
Well, and exactly. Okay. Yeah. I like that parallel, because here's what I was thinking about. I'm like, who's the caretaker of this forest? Like, you have Tom Bombadil.
Yeah.
Old Man Willow goes haywire and he's coming down to straighten him out, right? I mean, Tom Bombadil goes in there and straightens them out. Saves them. So I was thinking, okay, where is the forest just too? It's massive. It's a way bigger forest. Obviously, it's massive. Huge. It's huge. And again, you do have the wood elves and things like that, and other creatures and stuff. But like, you know, in the film, and I know this is plays into some of the histories or whatever, with the other writings from Tolkien, where you can go find that Radagast and others were working on the White Council and trying to combat, the necromancer and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sitting here going, this forest has been going south for a long time. I mean, it's literally not looking good, you know?
Well, it also goes north too. It's like a north-south.
It goes east and west, and it's also just not, it's
definitely one. And I wonder too if it is because of the size of it, right? Like it is very clearly split in the middle by a road, right? Is it just because it's so big, or is it its proximity to certain areas where evil forces have already had a stronghold? Yeah, that's a great point. Like you think if they had been watchful and they had, and I'm guessing this is probably where you're driving with some of the criticism of Radagast, that if they had someone like Radagast within Mirkwood, why did it decay as much as it actually did? Gandalf clearly knows about it. You do have the wood elves there. Although they seem like so different. And I think the film did a good job of kind of capturing they're kind of mirthy. Like they're not to play on the word murky, but they're kind of a little more, they're like a darker strand of elves. And I'm sure there's some thing I haven't read yet that explains why, or maybe not. Maybe it's one of those things Tolkien's like, you're thinking too hard about it. But there's definitely that aspect of like they're almost, and it's strange. Like they're elves that live under a mountain, like dwarves. Like it's interesting. And you do have more of this. I'm thinking back to Children of Húrin, and oh gosh, the Thorogrim or fudge. What's the guy's name? The elf in Doriath, the elf king and queen, where
oh my, yeah.
Where Turin goes and lives and accidentally kills the elf and has to flee. They live underground as well, or at least part of it is, I believe. So it's not like unprecedented in Middle Earth, although that was a different part of Middle Earth, whatever. But it's weird, right? Like we have this idea that dwarves go underground, elves live amongst the trees or within the trees, like in the canopy, like in Lothlorien. But it's just this strange thing to see elves underground, right? Like in caves. It's bizarre. And we do know that they have a little bit of a love of, at least Thranduil has a little bit of love of the jewelry and the jewels, which also doesn't seem very elven-like. So it's almost like Tolkien, too, at this point, even though he had written some of the Red Book stuff, like some of his origin ideas for Middle-earth, it does seem like he was still trying to figure out what elves are going to be like, or how different elves are going to be. Or maybe that allowed him to elaborate later on in the Silmarillion why there are different types of elves, right? Because we don't think of elves as like coveting jewels or like being interested in any of those kind of, like, at least my association with elves, they're above all of those things that dwarves. They criticize dwarves of being like greedy and mining deep and messing around, looking so hard for stuff that they awake things that shouldn't be awoken.
Right, yeah. And actually, you're totally right. They're an interesting group, and you brought up one of the characters you were talking about, Children of Húrin and King Thingol of Doriath, right? Takes Turin, as a foster son and so on. I haven't read that in a long time, but I told you when I had read it, I was like, wow, way different. I was getting way different vibes and feels from some of the factions inside of our elves and the various families, and it goes all the way. They're a very complicated group. I think that makes them way more interesting. It's just something that we don't get a lot of it in like, for people who've just read Lord of the Rings. There's not a lot. You get two groups. You get the elves of Rivendell and the elves of Lorien, and they're pretty similar. You know what I mean? They seem very akin to one another, and you had that tie between Elrond and Galadriel, like son-in-law and mother-in-law thing. So there's that natural connection between the two kingdoms. They're both kind of hidden. They're both sort of like vacating Middle Earth, so they're not as invested in what's going on. So they seem kind of more disconnected. You know what I mean? They're not like elves in a relative prime. Like we don't get to experience, even in here, as much of them just like living in a kingdom in a different place. Right. Yeah. So it's they're an interesting group or faction. I mean, are they supposed to be caretaking this forest?
I don't know.
More, you know what I mean? Like, so anyway, back to my original kind of thing where people were saying that Radagast had no, because they're the other big faction, a force that's supposed to be fighting for the light, if you will. And this forest is being, overtaken by spiders and dark, creepy things. You can't even safely travel. The whole point is there's a path, right? And don't stray from the path, okay? It's like the yellow brick road, all right?
Right.
I mean, okay, just kidding. I mean,
it is.
But,
No, it is. That's exactly right.
So stay on it.
But it's not even like the main path. It's not the road. You know what I mean? So
it's like this elvish pass,
secret path. Yeah.
Hard to follow, and it just but there's still even that far north, I guess. My point is that the darkness is pretty ridiculous that it's even that far north. So from where Radagast is and where everything is going on at Dol Guldur, like, it's got to be pretty bad down there. It's got to be even worse, you would think. And I haven't really read. This is literally my initial thoughts just after reading the chapter and coming into it. I was like, wow, that is just something I would want to go dig a bit more, because I think Radagast, I love him. I love Radagast the Brown. I think he's a good wizard. I think he is helping. I think what this shows is that the world itself, that Middle Earth, has neglected. That this is a place that darkness was allowed to creep in, and when you're one of, a handful of wizards who's going in and actually trying to look out for living creatures and plant life. And they always the phrase is going native or whatever. But I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
Going native? What does
I
that
don't know.
even mean?
I kept seeing people say it on the forums, and I was like, "What are we talking about here?" Like,
are we gonna get canceled for that, or
are we? I don't know. Like, is that a bad thing to say?
I'm joking. I'm joking. I was making a joke.
Oh, okay. But it's like, whoa, no.
I have no idea. I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
But like one of the things that I love is that you just said it right there. One wizard, right, in this region against, and I'm looking at this map. I'm thinking Erebor is overtaken by a dragon. That's to the northeast. That's pretty big. Gundabad is to the north. The Gundabad orcs. There's orcs all in those mountains in the Ered Mithrim. Then you've got I forgot about this. Like the Misty Mountains are infested with orcs. We just came through that, and goblins. So they're literally on the west, the north, the east, and the south. If you look at Gundabad, Mirkwood is surrounded by
it is.
In ways that other areas in Middle Earth are not so much. So yeah, I mean it's almost like from all sides they're just getting crushed.
And Galadriel is right there in Lorien and doing what? Doing what?
People
are gonna be like, I did not think Ez was gonna tee off on Galadriel and bring up Radagast. Radagast is not even mentioned in this chapter, and here I am.
Is this just a subplot for him to boost Glorfindel?
Oh my gosh, it's all coming back to Glorfindel. Here we go. So anyway, let me read a little bit of this summary to kind of get us going too. So Thorin and company, right, entering Mirkwood.
Be careful. Yeah.
Hey, I'm not going. Hey, they're following the elf path. The forest gate was this arch leading them into a gloomy tunnel made by two great old trees with a few blackened leaves leaning together, strangled with ivy. And so as they go through, it's dark, it's creepy, it is what it is. The path is narrow, and it's a lot of the description comes down to like the trees, how. I think they did kill a squirrel or a rabbit or something, a small animal, and they tried to eat it, and it wasn't good, right? I mean, they tried to catch a little game, and they couldn't. It didn't taste good. So, like the water, they're not supposed to drink the water. They can't really find. They had food going in, right? So they had their packs full, but when they get in there, they're not able to really eat any of the food, and out the gate, you're kind of like, wow, that's just not. That's a bad sign. Really bad sign.
Yeah.
So, occasionally a thin beam of sunlight will slip through, from time to time, but really not much. There were, as you said at the top of the show, black squirrels.
Squirrels. Hey, you know how rare they are? It's 1 in every 10,000.
Really?
I looked that up. Black squirrels. Because I think I've seen one before. Have you seen a black squirrel or a albino squirrel? I can't remember. There was an albino squirrel in Johnstown, Ez.
Really?
That I saw at a gas station. It freaked me out. I was like, why is there a pure white squirrel with red eyes coming after my nuts? But
Ghost.
black squirrels, yeah, a white albino squirrel is a dead black squirrel. But 1 in every 10,000.
Wow.
That's how rare they are. So I wonder if it was interesting to see what Tolkien did in this chapter. So he had like black squirrels, right? He had this ghost deer that was like kind of eluding them the whole time. I'm not going to go off too much here. Just things I wanted to mention.
If you want, you can read something. Yeah, if you need to. Yeah.
No. Yeah, no, I don't know how. There were all these other things like. All these other little nods to ancient fairy lore. So like the lights, right?
Yes.
All these party lights that would lead them off the path. To this day, you have people who see lights in the forest, and they seem to be like intelligent. They move, and they lead you deeper into the woods. And old fairy lore, This is a huge thing. The forest lights, they lead you off the path and you never find your way back. And here, instead of fairies, it's elves. It's this elven light that for whatever reason, we don't like, and they seem to be a little mischievous. This group of elves,
Yeah.
they're being led off this path in hopes of this feast that they can see before them. So it's even more descriptive than like traditional fairy lights. It's just this weird pull that you feel like almost like a compelling push towards this light in fairy lore, and you just follow it, and you never come back because you lose your way and you get lost. But here it's like this temptation. It's like, and it happens 3 times. I also want to point that out.
Yes, it does.
It happens 3 times. Thank you, Tolkien. I've got you can't see it, but there's 3s all over the wall in front of me. But it pulls them out in hopes of like ending their hunger, and then just goes out and leaves them in the pitch black in the dark. But it's so interesting, all these different little things that he plays with. Then you've got like like all these omens, like don't stray from the path, don't drink the water, and of course, or don't even touch the water. And of course, they end up doing all of them. They're almost like self-fulfilling prophecies. Like if they wouldn't have said, it's like in the back of their head, they're starting to go crazy, right? There's no light. They're suffocated. The air is bad. But the only time Bilbo feels any relief is when he climbs up into the top of those, is it beech trees, I think? And is able to get out of the canopy, and he's doomed because he can't see anything because he's in a valley. Even though if they would have been in another part, he would have seen that they were really, really close to the end.
That's right.
Then they end up going back. But another thing too that I found interesting, I'm reading through. I believe Tara got it for us. Tara Lynn got it for the girls. This book, it's called John Ronald's Dragons, and it's a story all about Tolkien's life. It's beautiful. It's a kid's book. Illustrations are gorgeous, awesome story. But there's this part, it seems to lighten a little bit with when they hit this little grove of like beech trees. Do you remember that?
Yes.
There's the beech trees, and it opens up a little bit, and it feels a little less menacing. Yeah. And in that story, there's this portion where it's from his childhood, when his childhood was still rich. He lived in Sarehole. His mother was still alive, where he and his brother Hillary would play in these beech trees. And it was mentioned, and it was just funny, the connection. I've been reading this to Winnie. She loves hearing it. And then making the connection to this chapter that there's some sort of like affinity for beech trees. You know, I know that his favorite tree was a willow, and that's partially why he made Old Man Willow the way he did. It was like his favorite tree was a willow tree that got cut down. And so I think part of the thing with Old Man Willow was it was a willow tree getting revenge, right? You know, and being remembering the other, being in control and being menacing towards anything on 2 legs, you know. But I wonder if his love for or memory to beech trees, or maybe just it was a tree that he liked particularly, that's the reason that was associated with a little lighter or
an atmosphere.
Less menacing area of the forest, because it's not all bad. Like not all Mirkwood is bad. No, because you've got characters in there. You've got, like you said, you've got Radagast living in Mirkwood, so there must be some good there, or at one time was. And you've got these wood elves who they're ethereal beings, and they decide to live there. So
you're right. It is just sort of like it's not an easy forest to
it's complicated.
Traverse. It's thick, it's dense, it's all those things. No, that actually gets us through quite a bit of, which is good, because they go through the beginning of this, and I'm just gonna again kind of summarize some of it, but they're wasting arrows, shooting down squirrels. They don't taste good. No water, none of that good stuff. And we really get to kind of an interesting point to the story where we're gonna call upon Bilbo. And I told you back when we were doing Fellowship and everything, Bilbo is my guy. You know, I like Bilbo a lot. Yeah. And they're now starting to believe in him more. Like they come to literally a barrier. They come to that little that river, right? The water that's moving through, and they have to cast a rope across, a hook to the other side and pull the boat over. They see a boat, and this is when you said like the white kind of deer comes jumping, and Bombur falls in, man. So Lane and I had some pretty funny stuff going on. I was trying to figure out. I want you to think of a G-rated version of this without, I mean, very G-rated. I say G-rated, but like to help folks visualize what we were thinking about in this moment, because I
can do that. Yeah.
Bombur falls into the water. Just to recap for folks, falls into the water because they were pulling super hard on this rope, and and they were, good pull, fellas. And they get it snaps the rope on the other side. They pull the boat across, and Bilbo catches it with a stick. Bilbo's got those keen eyes. He was guiding the pulling of the rope and the hook. Yeah. Awesome, Team Bilbo. Let's go. He's literally leveling up. It's so funny. You think of a video game and you think of like Bilbo getting new skills, and it's not like he gets some magnificent sword or he gets some magnificent armor and he's leveling up. It's like, no, vision. He's like, all of a sudden they now believe in his vision. So he's like, I do have good eyesight. You're right. I can see across there.
It's simple things. It's little tasks that he,
Let me guide you guys. So anyways, Bombur though falls in, drowning. Yeah. He's drowning. And
I do have a question. When they were trying to figure out how to get across, were you thinking, like, my mind went to, you've got a chicken, a fox, and a boat. How do you get them both to the other side without the fox eating the chicken? I don't know why I couldn't stop. That old riddle. Like, how do you get? Like, what do you send for? And then there's the grain too. The chicken, the grain, and the fox. How do you get them all over to the other side without chicken dying or the chicken eating all the? So I was thinking that myself. I'm like, how do we get these dwarves over without Bombur falling in the water and becoming unconscious? And it was a deer. It was a deer who ruined it.
It was a deer who jumps in there and gets him. Yeah. And he's complaining about bringing up the rear. Literally bringing up the rear. I mean, come on, Bombur. But but I mean, like, so what? Okay, so let's flash forward a little bit here. Flash forward. Now I'm doing it. I'm sorry. And there's so not only does he when he falls in the water, Bombur falls asleep. Out like a light. They cannot. He holds onto that rope for dear life, and they drag him over, but then he won't even let go of the rope because he's just passed out. Yeah. But he's almost like, I imagine he's sleeping. He's got his eyes closed, but he's gritting.
Yeah, totally.
And he's just kind of,
because we find out later what he's dreaming about. He's feasting and he's getting rest, and it's no problem. There's no problem.
Right.
Yeah. And
so they eventually, like where we kind of went with our vision here, this visual that we had, what is that like? Like they got to move Bombur, and Bilbo at one point too, the lights start showing up again, and all of the they would run into. So the dwarves would see these lights, and it's the elves, it's the wood elves out there doing their thing. They're messing with them a little bit. They can say what they want, but I know there's something going on there. You're too close. You're too close to these guys. You got the whole forest. Yeah. You could go eat anywhere, but you guys
to do it
decided,
that many times, to do it 3 times too, is questionable.
Yes, it's questionable. Yeah.
Suspect.
So anytime they would send someone into the light, they would go in, be bedazzled or whatever the word is, dazzled, and pass out. And they would fall asleep, and they'd try to wake them up and say, what's going on with this guy? So we kind of had this thought, like, what if they do a good job in the movie of making all of them, you remember when they're walking around and they're just like, they almost are just looking at their feet, and they're just kind of like stepping.
Bilbo starts tripping. He like sees himself in front of himself, and he's walking backwards when he's walking
looking
forward.
At their hands. He's trying to look at your hand. So that scene kind of made me feel like, okay, when you come out of that state after you've passed out and you've been, Bombur couldn't even remember. The last thing he remembered was being in Bilbo's house back in the Shire.
So and like amnesia, like memory loss stuff.
Gone.
So we had this visual of like them just becoming so tormented and deranged and hungry. Yeah. And Bombur's just sitting there passed out, and he's the biggest, right? Right. He's probably got some kind of like crumbs or leftovers, and he's got a lot of hair. And so maybe they just reverted to ape, and they're like picking stuff out of his hair and his beard.
Yes.
And eating. And like Bilbo seems to be the only one who's got any sense. You're right. They rush in, and then the lights go out, and it's pitch black, and they're bumping into each other. And when the light finally comes back, sunlight, whatever light they do have, they're far off the path. And maybe when the light comes to one of these times, Bilbo looks over and he sees 2 or 3 of the dwarves just
just
Bilbo, come feast on his crumbs, like just eating from Bombur's leftovers that are inevitably in the creases and cracks of his body. His body, probably his beard. Okay, his ponytail, that kind of area.
His lower back ponytail, maybe too. Who knows?
Maybe his toes. Maybe they're eating the cheese between his toes. I don't know.
Who knows? It's so gross, and I know it's gross for you guys, but it's just like that's the kind of way I see them, like these
desperation. They're desperate.
Dwarves just rushing around. What do we do? And it's wild.
And it comes into play later with the spiders. Spoiler alert! But when Bilbo finally frees them, they're like so hungry that they're weak to the point where they can't really even fight. Remember that they're so malnourished that they're like they're gone, man. They're gone. If it was not for Bilbo having his ring and having it's amazing. You'd think of all of these creatures that Bilbo would be most affected by the hunger, right? And so then you start thinking like, okay, a hobbit should be most affected by the hunger. Is he not as affected because of what he's got in his pockets is?
Right.
Is there some sort of strength or will working on him? Because you'd think that maybe that the ring would want to be, and I know that Tolkien probably hadn't developed this all yet, but you'd think the ring would kind of maybe want to be found in Mirkwood, right?
Sure.
But think about who's coming after him. It's not a band of orcs. It's not, some sort of like dark general or something. It's spiders. Like, are spiders going to pick up the ring and go deliver it to whoever it needs to be taken to? I don't think so. Like I think it would probably get so lost in Mirkwood that it would be the same as when it was lost in the River Anduin. And so maybe maybe this is just like going back and projecting what we know about the ring on a situation that should. But like maybe the ring is willing Bilbo to get it out of Mirkwood so it doesn't get lost there. Like, I'm going to stay with this little hobbit because maybe he'll end up crossing paths with somebody who can get me back to my master, but it's not here. I'll rot here. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I've always thought, and this is just totally my feeling that I don't even think I can back this up with evidence in the book.
Those are my favorite.
I seriously, it's an impression that you get, right? It's the ring. To me, seems like it takes time, almost to wake up, or like that the power for it to start really working and moving. Now again, you could say to argue that, which is like, well, it pretty much jumped right out of Gollum's hands, and when it, the timing was right, and so lays dormant for a while, boom, pops out, right? Convenient. But I don't know. It just seems like to me, I kind of, even when Frodo has it, I'm like, wow, it just takes some time. It's just going to work on. It's got to work on you for a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
It takes some time to work on the hobbits for sure. But anyway.
And they also have to get kind of, I think, maybe whoever possesses it has to get a little obsessed with it as well. And so the longer you have it, the more you fixate on it, the more you obsess over it. The more you're kind of like feeling for it and touching it and all that kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's get into the here we go. Here's some of the good parts of this. So I'm going to read the summary and then we can talk about some of our major takeaways. But Bilbo awakes. And I read this line, earlier, actually, when I was reading the chapter. When Bilbo wakes up and he finds himself bound up, right? He's all tied up with sticky thread spun by giant spiders. Yeah. What is going through your mind at that point? Like, wait a second. Wait. Did we party too hard on Bombur's food crumbs? Like, what? I mean, what were we into?
Like, I knew these dwarves were into some freaky stuff, but like, this has gone too far. That's what my head would probably.
Too far. Yeah.
Like, were they trying to get me out here and bind me up? Like, was this a ruse? And is this why Gandalf left? Did this happen to Gandalf once?
Right. Yeah. He said, have fun. Have fun.
You'd be like totally bewildered. You would have no idea. Yeah, no idea. And we do get don't we get kind of like an illusion early on that when it would go pitch black that they'd see all these eyes?
Yes,
these
all the time.
Orange, red, and they were very unsettling, and they never got close enough for you.
Being watched. Yeah,
that's another like mythological or like fairy tale element that Tolkien weaves in too, is like eyes in the forest. It's always that thing. You're like, if you see eyes, even if it's just an animal watching you in the forest, it's one of those archetypes. It's like, oh my gosh, that's the forests have eyes. Like,
well, yeah. Anyone who lives by a creek or a body of water or whatever, like, back, like my dad and I cannot tell you the number of times we sat out on that back porch and we looked back out into where my treehouse used to be as a little kid. And we would just we'd hear a noise, and you could hear one noise in one part. We're sitting on the back porch, and you would just see eyes, about like 10 sets just pop up. All raccoons. All possum.
Oh, yeah.
They're all just like looking up real quick to see what that noise was. And then boom, eyes would just light up and you could see them on the bank. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I would tell my dad, I was like, Dad, we're at war. They're coming for the trash. They're coming for the trash. And we've got to stop them.
It's the front lines.
It's crazy. They're on the move. Boy, we had some absolutely we had cats and we had cat food, and they got in the garage, and let me tell you, they had a feast. They had a feast in there. The raccoons did.
Did they ever get one of your cats, or was that just the garage door?
Oh, the cats would hang out with them.
Yeah.
The cats would hang out with them. The cats would hang out with skunks. They hung out with the possum, they were a little bit kind of like, you're weird. You know what I mean? Everyone's going to say that to a pot.
They're marsupial, man. It's bizarre.
It's like, why are you grinning? Why are you grinning all the time?
Playing possum.
It's like, look, it's scary out here, man. Why you are just grinning ear to ear. You're up to no good. By the way, I lived playing possum. Yeah, I lived near a road right down from our house was actually called Possum Road. No joke.
I forgot about that.
Possum Road. Yeah.
Possum Road, man.
Anyways. But yeah, no, you're right. The giant spiders you would see hinting the whole time. They actually wouldn't even build a fire for a while because it was attracting. Yes. Yeah. And they were coming in close and stuff. And so it was drawing too much attention. But so Bilbo wakes up and realizes that the dwarves are all also bound up by the spiders. And even
like more so than he was.
Yes.
Yeah, worse off. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, he's got a set to getting them free somehow, right? He's got his sword, this is cool. This is the cool part, right? Where the sword will become Sting, right? I mean, this is...
Yes.
I think it's neat.
It is really cool. Yeah.
The first spider... one of the funniest things about this, too, is the first spider he kills, he's so much adrenaline is going through this little guy. He makes his kill. He kills a giant evil spider. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And he passes out. Right? He's put so much effort into it that it literally blacks out. He just blacks out again. And I'm like, wow. I mean, that's a guy who was like it's almost like
Bilbo. It's so Bilbo.
Well, yeah. You think of a guy who's running like a bookstore or a librarian, right? Who's not used to being in battle. He's the guy who's looking out there like, what am I doing? I'm out of place. I'm not a warrior. I'm out here on the battlefield. And all of a sudden, push comes to shove, and he just turns into Braveheart. He's just out there like, what?
Isn't it crazy? Because it does make you think. It makes you think like what like, I don't know. There's definitely commentary there on like war, right? And what people are capable of when put in, or even against wild animals, like put up against something that the options are you're gonna die or you're gonna kill this thing trying to kill you. Like what the normal person is capable of. It's just very interesting because this timid little hobbit goes nutso on a spider. I think they did a really good job. This chapter, actually, I think maybe like one of the best things they brought to life in the films.
Yeah.
And the part where he slices and dices and does, like, Martin Freeman does a great job of bringing, like, the right energy and emotion, I think, that Bilbo has. I had forgotten that he passed out. That's so funny.
Yeah, he passes out. So I know folks were raging because I hadn't opened the book yet.
Did
but
you just
worry.
open your book?
I
was going to say
the book. Yeah.
I feel like I have to now too.
Well, and I wanted to kind of get to. Yeah. I wanted to kind of speed us through some of the stuff at the beginning because we can get so bogged down in reading the description of the forest that I'm like, guys, if you want to read the description of the forest and the moss hanging down and all the, Ez is a little bit over it. This chapter was just I do enjoy it. It's just not my favorite chapter.
Oh yeah.
It just really isn't. But
I got something for you. I guess can't remember exactly. This is after after his singing.
Okay. Wait, after Bilbo singing.
Yeah, are you getting there?
Well, I'm actually right there.
Yeah.
If you look at the old fat spider song is where I'm right before that. And I'm really just looking at, like, reminding folks the power that hobbits have, right? They are stealthy. Yeah. They can throw stones, and they are lethal. It's like, I mean, it's compared to, let's see here. So as a boy, he used to practice throwing stones at things until rabbits and squirrels and even birds got out of his way as quick as lightning if they saw him stoop. And even grown up, he had still spent a deal of his time at, what is this? I don't even know. Quoits?
Quoits? Yeah.
Quoits?
I don't know. Some British game, maybe? I don't know.
Dart throwing, shooting at the wand, bowls, nine pins, and other games that required kind of aiming and throwing of the sword.
He would have loved cornhole. He would have loved Farmer Maggot's crop toss. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, indeed, he could do lots of things besides blowing smoke rings, asking riddles, and cooking, which is a lot of stuff anyways. But so it's just kind of pointing out again, every once in a while you get I think of the video game version of Bilbo in this. He's leveled up again. Now he can throw a stone and kill a spider. Okay.
And it is cool how he says there, he mentions those other things, and there's lots of other things he can do that I haven't had time to tell you about. So it's like this idea too that, Bilbo, I think it goes back to Gandalf, right? And Gandalf saying, like, this is your man. This is your burglar. Like, that maybe even Gandalf saw things in him.
Yes.
Like, things that he was already skilled at. And, like, this adventure just pulls those out, draws them out, and allows them to level up and develop and come in handy. Like, the dwarves aren't throwing stuff, right? Are they? They're still wrapped up, aren't they?
They're still wrapped up. Oh yeah, he's drawing the spiders off, and he's trying to, because again, they're about to feast up on the meats.
Yeah,
I mean that's what they're after. And so not only does he do that, but Bilbo's also he's a good song. We find out later he's a really good songwriter. And the irony here is that he says in the short amount of time that he had, he comes up with this song, "Old Fat Spider Spinning in a Tree." The old fat spider. I did not know that this was. I haven't seen the old animated version of The Hobbit in quite some time. This is one that's made onto the soundtrack. It's.
I know. You played it for me, and I was kind of disappointed because I was like, we can't top that. I mean, there's no way to.
No,
we need to find it. We still need to find a karaoke version though, and do it.
And kind of do some. Yeah,
I think so.
Get some.
I do love. I do love that Tolkien says, it's not very good, perhaps, but then you must remember that he had to make it up himself on the spur of a very awkward moment. And not ideal songwriting times. You know what I mean? Slaying spiders and songwriting doesn't necessarily match up very well.
Right. How would you sing? How would you sing this? So would it just be kind of old fat?
You'd have to like kind of. So the way I'm imagining it is like taunting. Old fat spider spinning in a tree. Old fat spider can't see me.
Yep.
Adder cop, won't you stop your spinning and look for me? Like you got to be just.
I got it.
Egging them on, like bring it on, B. Right? I mean, like.
Wow.
Maybe?
So it wouldn't be like. Old fat spider spinning in a tree.
Here's what I think. I think that's the remix. I think that's when he's back in the Shire recalling this.
Right.
And singing it. It's like more a song of triumph. In the moment, he's like, yeah, baby, let's go. I'm ready. Bring them on.
Seriously, I thought it was pretty good. So, old fat spider spinning in a tree. Old fat spider can't see me. Like, just real deep and kind of like, at her cup, won't you stop? No, that's not how he would sing it. You're totally right. It would totally be to like a quick, witty kind of version. But I was thinking like, what would be the long-winded, traditional version?
I also hear your version. I'm like, that's too good. It's too good. Tolkien said it's not very good. So it's like a little kid taunting. Like those are never good. Nah 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 nah. Like that's not a good.
Yeah.
Like song or tune. It's like
it's a nasty song. He's a fat spider.
Yeah.
So I just thought it was funny.
Did you look up what Addercop means?
No.
I never did.
I'll take a look here for us.
Do that real quick.
Yeah.
Because my internet is slower than molasses right now.
Yeah. We don't need you searching anything over there.
I got Mirkwood Express internet. What kind of? You think they have dial-up in Mirkwood? Probably. It's not high speed.
Wow. An ill-natured person or a spider.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Huh.
Ooh. So if you're calling someone,
it's got two. Yeah, and this is kind of a noun, archaic noun. Yeah.
What's Tom Noddy? Is it the same kind of thing? Just like a dummy, maybe?
Noddy. Let's see.
I think you need to start calling Tom Noddy. See what he says.
Ooh. Wow. It's. I guess it's kind of a Scottish word.
There you go.
And it says one of the meanings here is fool. Fool, dunce. Yeah. Interesting. So insults, just
Yeah.
good old fashioned insults.
Good old fashioned insults.
Yeah. Tuck those away for when you need them. When you're in a department meeting. And,
You old Tom Noddy.
Yeah. All right. So after that, he gets these spiders all worked up and he's pulling them away. Off Bilbo scuttled to a fresh place, but several of the spiders had run now to different points in the glade where they lived. They were busy spinning webs across all the spaces between the tree stems. So he's trying to like move them out and around. They start to get ahead of him though and say, you know what? Let's cut off all the exits. Let's cut off every exit here. This guy's not getting away. They've done this before, right? So now, song continues. Lazy lob, crazy cob,
Yes.
so on.
It's still a couple pages away, so it's not even that big of a point. But there's this moment where, is it after? Yeah, it's after they name it Sting. Mm-hmm. But it's just a real short line. And I had actually, talking about Children of Hurin, I had started that story so many times, like maybe 3 or 4 times since college when it came out in the Alan Lee illustrated version that I'm sure most people know of.
Right.
But never finished it. So actually, I think it was like before Christmas. I read through the whole thing like in a week. Remember I was texting you all these quotes and stuff, and I was like, man, this is the most, I think that story is the most ready to be adapted into a movie or a show of anything he's written. The dialogue in that, you could literally just take a script from the dialogue that Tolkien wrote. It is so poignant. Anyway, one of the things that reminded me of or that Sting reminded me of is Gurthang, like his blade, the elvish blade, because he mentions that his little sword was something new in the way of stings for them, how it darted to and fro. This was the line here. It shone with delight as he stabbed at them. And I thought, okay, so this is also an elvish blade, right? An old elvish blade. that was probably forged. It was forged in Gondolin, so it could have been like around the same time, or it was a contemporary, I guess, of Gorthang, and how he personifies these elvish blades as taking delight in killing evil things. I thought it was a cool little tie-in that I had just read about in Children of Hurin. I'm like, wow, this is something that he doesn't mention about any other type of weapon. It's only like elvish blades that they light up and they become like almost like Gurthang. He talks about, or he describes a lot as having like a personality. It's very interesting, fascinating. I mean, I think most stories that have like these great weapons, they do almost kind of become like characters. Definitely. I don't think that's even like that big of a deal to say. Anyway, I don't know. Just the personification that he puts to it, like taking delight.
I like all those connections to the sword. I think that's...
okay. Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Oh, okay. I mean, fella, listen here. Swords and forks. All right.
No one likes to know what all is. Come
on. No, it's a cool connection. But Bilbo, you're actually, the part I was at right there was he gets his sword out and he is cutting down sort of some of the spiders. Kind of back away for a second. They're a little, nervous, cutting through things. He goes back and he has to free everybody. He's got to get, Philly and Killy out of there. Bifer and Bofer and Dory and Nori and so on. Poor old Bombur was so exhausted. He was the fattest and had been constantly pinched and poked. He just rolled off the branch and fell plop on the ground, fortunately onto the leaves, and he laid there. There were still 5 dwarves hanging at the end of the branch when the spiders began to come back, more full of rage than ever. So he at some point reveals to them, though, and this is where I'm not going to get us bogged down again in all this reading here, but he reveals to them that the power of the ring.
Yeah.
He reveals to them the power of the ring is, kind of a watch this. Now I'm going to put the ring on, guys. I'm going to lead them here. So they go kind of on this chase where they're kind of bouncing around between place to place. And he's like, hey, I'm over here. And the spider's like, oh, there he is. And they rush after him. And the dwarves are kind of trying to get away. So he's shouting like, come down, come down. He shouted to the dwarves on the branch, don't stay up there and be netted. For he saw the spiders swarming up all the neighboring trees and crawling along. So he's already freed them, trying to get them down, trying to get them to move. Then the battle began. Some of the dwarves had knives, so we eventually get to a point where they are going to fight these spiders. Yeah. And some had sticks, and all of them could get at stones, and Bilbo had his elvish dagger. Again and again the spiders were beaten off, and many of them were killed, but it could not go on for long. Bilbo was nearly tired out. Only 4 of the dwarves were able to stand firmly, and soon they would all be overpowered like weary flies. And so that's where that. So here we are. We're in a desperate situation. Bilbo says, in the end, right? He could think of no plan except to let the dwarves in on the secret of the ring. I'm going to disappear. He said, I shall draw the spiders off if I can. You must keep together and make it to the opposite direction. So, it's, he doesn't even really, he kept it a secret long as he could. Now, guys, don't be alarmed. I'm going to disappear. Once he gets past this,
Was Thorin gone at this point and they just hadn't realized it yet?
Yeah, somewhere in this chaos he is gone. He goes missing.
Because it's just amazing how Bilbo's, there are other dwarves qualified to lead here, but they're just so out of it that he's the one. I found that fascinating, that he was truly like the leader of the group at this point. No questions. No questions. Like he wasn't yielding to any king. He wasn't, submitting to any elder or more experienced adventurer. He was deciding their fate. He was deciding their fate as, if something bad happens, it's going to be on a decision I make. Yep. And that was crazy. It's just crazy, man. It's wild.
It is. And actually, you can see a second in command kind of pop up, but you're totally right. It's totally Bilbo takes over here. Yeah. And he says, guys, watch this. They are shocked when the ring goes on, astonished. He slips by the spiders, is drawing their attention away. Yep. Once a gap forms in the circle, the spiders that's emerging on them, Balin realizes what Bilbo has done because you can't give all the details of your plan. Like you're in battle essentially. It's like quickly you've got to have people kind of infer and pick up what's happening. So he does, and he basically says, "All right, here we go. We found a weak link here in the circle. Let's punch through." And so that's how Balin and those guys will get out, and they thankfully are able to kind of get away from the spiders.
Yeah.
So let's see, just to wrap that up. So it's action packed. It's wild, like you said. I think the movie did a really good job of it. But yeah. Here we go. So the dwarves then noticed that they had come to the edge of a ring, where the edge of a ring. By the way, multiple times they come to the edge of that ring. Did you notice that? All the time they were approaching a ring of some sorts,
and they were like encircled, and like the elves where there was a ring. Yep.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
3 rings.
3 rings. Elvish
the elves.
Rings. What's going on, man? What's going on? See what happens when we start, picking through some of the paragraphs.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to pick too hard through Bombur.
Yeah. No, we don't. So yeah, the dwarves then noticed they had come to the edge of a ring where the elf fires had been. Whether it was one of those that they had seen the night before, they could not tell. But it seemed that some good magic lingered in such spots, which the spiders did not like. At any rate, here the light was greener, and it's less thick, less threatening, and they had a chance to rest and draw breath. They lay there for some time, and they're kind of gathering themselves. It's in one of these rings that they recount the story of Gollum and the ring. Balin wants to know, what's up? How'd you get this ring? Tell us the true story. So they have some time to kind of talk about that story. And I think Balin feels good because, all right, so my wits weren't kind of wavering. You snuck past me with a magical ring. And he thinks back to when he was on watch and Bilbo got past him, and he was like, wow, how'd this guy get past me? It's crazy. Yeah. So yeah,
and this is that other part of the conversation. I don't know if you remember when we recorded with, I think it's when we recorded with Dave, and we were doing riddles in the dark, and we there was that little excerpt I found about just how the story of the ring changes and what parts Tolkien rewrote, which parts he didn't, and this was one of the aspects that was highlighted.
Really?
And how and how it's I don't know if this is the one that was controversial about, like, was Bilbo a liar? You know what I mean? Like, how much did he tell the truth about? Yeah, and how much did his story change? And it's just interesting. I can't keep it all straight.
Well, Bilbo's the best, guys. I don't want to hear otherwise. All right, don't you come after?
Yeah, him and that Radagast, they're going native,
They're going. The things that stick out of your mind are unreal. Oh my god! All right, so okay. At this point, the story is told. They look up at and they're looking around, and they say, "It's Dwalin who says, 'Where is Thorin?'"
Yeah.
Where's he at? All of a sudden, next paragraph. Yeah. Terrible shock. No idea. They're only 13. They're not 14. Where is he at? What had happened? Paragraph later, Thorin had been caught much faster than they had. Yeah. You remember Bilbo falling like a log into sleep as he stepped into a circle of light. You remember that? Because that's kind of a weird, time. He goes in, out like a light.
Yep.
Out like a light. Falls asleep, right? Yeah. Right?
You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Clever boy.
Then wakes up, and so they're Tolkien's kind of filling in this time here. So the next time it had been Thorin. So we only saw what happened to Bilbo, but now we're getting this version where Thorin had stepped forward as the lights went out. He fell like a stone enchanted. All the noise of the dwarves lost in the night, their cries as the spiders caught them and bound them, and all the sounds of the battle the next day had passed right over him unheard. Yeah. The wood elves had come to him and bound him and carried him away. So, I mean, that's how he gets taken by the feasting wood elves. and they differed from the high elves of the West. They were more dangerous and less wise, and that is according to Tolkien himself.
Yeah.
All right.
There it is.
So, interesting. So it says, for most of them, together with their scattered relations in the hills and the mountains, were descended from the ancient tribes that never went to fairies in the West. And that's true. So when you go back, it's funny that it's in The Hobbit, right? And then you go back to his Silmarillion and the elves that stayed versus the elves that went or sent over, like split into 3 different factions. And so this is a group of them that they were descended from ancient tribes that never went to fairy in the West. So
Valinor, right?
Cool. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There the light elves and the deep elves and the sea elves went and lived for ages and grew fairer and wiser and learned more and invented their magic and their cunning craft in the making of beautiful and marvelous things. Before some came back to the wide world, in the wide world the wood elves lingered in the twilight of our sun and moon, but loved best the stars. And they wandered in great forest, and they grew tall in lands that are now lost. So, that's just a little bit of info on these elves that took Thorin. So, yeah. And the rest of this we can kind of summarize, which is he's taken before their king, and apparently there's some ancient beef and some quarrel between these two groups. Squirrels? Black squirrels.
Beef squirrel.
The king is looking for like jewels and things that might have been stolen, and according to the dwarves, well, you stole it from us first, kind of thing. Who's telling the truth here? Who do we believe? It's all left ambiguous. We don't really know exactly.
It's a squirrel quarrel.
It's a squirrel quarrel, yeah.
Or a chipmunk chippy.
Yeah.
Batten down the H's.
Here's the last 2 kind of just paragraphs on this. So then the elves, they put him in chains. They shut him up in one of the innermost caves with strong wooden doors, and they left him. They gave him food and drink, plenty of both, if not fine, for wood elves were not goblins, and they were reasonably well behaved, even to their worst enemy when they captured them. The giant spiders were the only things that they had no mercy upon. There in the king's dungeon, poor Thorin lay. After he had gotten over the thankfulness for bread and meat and water, he began to wonder what had become of his unfortunate friends. It was not very long before he discovered, but that belongs to the next chapter and the beginning of another adventure. So, it's a big kind of, now next chapter will be, Barrels Out of Bond. Yeah.
Yep.
So, perfect.
You did a great job.
Hey,
thought you weren't going to open that book, though.
I can't help myself.
Good thing you didn't swear on it, huh?
I get tempted sometimes. Shame. So,
that was great, man.
It's good.
You'd think after 3 months we had a little bit of rust, but I don't see any.
I don't see. I don't either.
These guys are really big jerks. I'm not listening anymore.
I'm out. All right, we do have. I got a couple stories in here. Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. You want to read all of them?
Yeah, and actually, so the first one's just real simple. It's just Colby. Colby sent us something and said, hey guys, my name is Colby. I live here in Dayton, Ohio. I love the podcast, and you guys have inspired me to start reading The Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings are my favorite movies of all time. I love how real they are and how they use real people in a lot of scenes, not just CGI. Yeah. I do have a question for you guys, though. As far as my Lord of the Rings theology goes, it's not very deep. So if you guys could you talk a little bit about the start of the universe, maybe the powers and the beings in the universe? Thanks so much for what you do. Much appreciated. And then he lives down in Dayton. And hey, he said dinner's on him if we ever head down that
Colby.
way. Which is
heck yeah, man.
Pretty sick. Yeah.
When this pandemic's over, we're gonna go get some some grub. Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sort of an expert on I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I know you. Because I'm not. I mean, that's a good question, Colby. Like we we are going to come to the Silmarillion at some point. Maybe
well,
not.
hold on. There's someone I can contact who could answer all these questions. Let me sort of just go inward.
Come on. Bring him out.
Hey, guys. It's Rory Olson here. I'm sorry. Sort of gave that one away. It's Rory Youngson here. So you want to know about the beginnings of Middle Earth, huh? That's cool. Middle Earth's a real old world. It's not top Earth or bottom Earth, but it's Middle Earth. It's very old. You mentioned CGI in your question. I'm not sure what that stands for, but I know that LODR stands for Lord of the Rings, which is, of course, the tale which takes place in, you guessed it, Middle Earth. So the beginnings of it, it's kind of cool. Like it's, you ever seen like a rock band? And they sing songs. And I guess a lot of bands sing songs, but it kind of started that way. Sounds too good to be true. Don't most beautiful music sound that way? Well, stay tuned for next time. Colby, this episode's dedicated to you. My name's Rory Youngson. And next time we're going to be digging in deeper to the beginnings of the universe. And maybe exactly like what those lyrics were in that song. Catch you on the Middle Earth. Bye. See,
Wow.
I told you I could do it. I told you.
Wow. That came out of like where that is unreal that you have that in your mind palace.
Rory lives inside me, and he's the man inside me at all times. And he comes and he goes.
Yep. Okay.
And I don't know, maybe he'll have his own show someday. Maybe that's what'll start popping up on YouTube and our channel. Maybe not.
My question is the Roy Youngston show coming out before the Lord of the Rings,
inevitably.
show? Okay.
Inevitably. Probably by years or decades. I don't even know which is more real, honestly.
Well, that's a good question. Yeah.
You could cut that up into a trailer, what I just did.
Oh, I know you can. I'm planning on it. So I want to say, so I actually had an experience. I had a student show up, and I feel like I said this on the podcast. I can't remember when. Now I'm actually starting to think that I already read Colby's message. I have these I get these. Fits
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But like I get these moments where I have deja vu. I can't remember all the stuff I've said. So I had a student come to me and they said, "So what happened, like in the beginning of the Lord of the Rings? Like where did they all come from?" Yeah. And I was like, "Well, look," you have God. And I literally just gave because we had 5 minutes in between classes. And I was like, and they're like, "No, just start from the beginning." I was like, "No, literally, there's this guy, it's God. His name's Iluvatar, whatever.
Yeah.
He's got a bunch of children. One's named Manwë, other one, Melkor, whatever.
Bonwë,
and they're brothers, and they're kind of there's other children. They're like the angels. Well, one's bad, one's good. One sings a song of discord. Next thing you know, they're making the world together. But the one bad son kind of, but he's also important because we need some discord in the world too. The whole thing. I was just running through all of this, just talking about the hierarchy of and this kid was just like, "What are you talking about?" I was all over the place, and it was kind of fun.
No one likes to know it all as. I mean, that's cool.
I thought it was just a good,
Yeah, so
kinda.
Okay, so you just got to come show Rory.
No,
you can't let Rory have his moment. Okay,
Rory, I'm sorry.
I see you flexing. You're quite literally flexing your arm right now.
I'm scratching my arm.
Oh, okay. Showing off the old cannons.
They're old, all right. That's for sure. They're old.
Some things never change.
They're wore out.
That's pretty cool. Now that's cool that that you're a trusted adult for one, but two, that they would come to you with questions about Middle Earth. Just imagine when this show drops in 2045. How many?
Right.
If you're still teaching, If you're still teaching when the show comes out, imagine if you haven't retired at the age of 65, imagine how many questions you'll be fielding.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be getting all of them. They'll be like, hey, Mr. Kirk, that episode, or Kirk, that episode last night, any of that really true? Where can I find the answers? You'd be like, guys, I've had 30 years to research it, so I know exactly what page number it's on. And no, they don't drop their pants.
Right. Hey, Mr. Kirk, is any of that true? Like, is that based on a true story? What's
Mr.
going
Kirk,
on there?
I heard this is about history. Is that true? No?
Which age was that? Which age was that? Before Christ or after Christ?
Wait a minute. I thought it was Common Era now, Mr. Kirk. You sly dog.
Yeah. How dare you be weaving in these ancient, archaic terms? All right. Good. Yeah. Thank you, Colby. Appreciate it.
That's awesome, Colby.
Yeah.
Yes. Would you like me to read this next one, my friend?
Yeah, I think it's Luke is next. Yeah.
Wow, I just saw in highlight Lost Lane. That should be like.
Isn't that the name of our
theme.
Patreon episodes?
That's a theme.
Lost Lane episode.
We've got Luke the Sherd Nerd. Got to be careful with that one.
I know.
It sounds like something else, but I'm going to read Luke's Tolkien story. Luke, here is your moment. Do you think people, like, they hear their name and they're like, oh my gosh, this is it? This is my story being shared. I would. I'd be geeking out. I've had before we podcasted, I had a comment read or a review read on a podcast, and I about excuse me. I about lost control of my bladder. I showed Sarah. I showed my parents. I think I love it. Maybe even showed you.
Yeah. Yep.
And I was over the moon.
It's fun.
It's crazy.
It's a lot.
It is fun. It builds that connection. Dear as in Lane, warning in all caps, no apologies shall be included in this email regarding the length of my digression into the historical underpinnings of Tolkienian, I didn't even know that was a word, Tolkienian inspiration. I do love that, okay, Luke, I'm not throwing you under the bus, but I do love that all apologies or lack of apologies are kind of sort of by default apologies. I love that there's no way around it. You can't not apologize or apologize. It's just you write a long story and you have our hat. We take our hats off to you.
Yes.
It's the way we like it. So though you guys have finished the Lord of the Rings series, I'm still in the process of catching up. I've read the series a couple of times, back in middle school because of the movies, and again in college. I saw Fellowship in theaters and, like so many, immediately read The Hobbit and Loader before Two Towers hit theaters. I read The Silmarillion and The Unfinished Tales between watching the extended edition, actor commentaries in high school. In college, I was an English major. There you go. That's perfect. And my department actually had a Tolkien class. I was also a classics major, meaning I was exposed to a lot of Greco-Roman history as well. In fact, so already Luke is 5 pay grades above our feeble Hobbit minds.
I love it.
I can barely read this letter, honestly. It's amazing. I remember reading Luke's when it came through. This is amazing. I'm honestly, when we get things like this from like superiorly educated human beings, who can tolerate listening to us,
I know.
I almost go into like
it's mind-boggling.
Honestly, like
mind-boggling.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
I was also a classics major, meaning I was exposed to a lot of Greco-Roman history as well. In fact, I am currently living in Crete, studying early Bronze Age pottery, and listening to, you guessed it, As in Lane, with guest appearances from the lovely Goldberry, working their way through the series. Though I'm not reading along, it definitely helps me through my days looking at broken pieces of pottery, and has certainly convinced me to reread it when I get back home to North Carolina. So Luke's is or was just sitting there uncovering history, putting together pieces of pottery that have been broken for thousands of years.
Right.
and listening to our voices in his ear. Again,
It's unreal.
it kind of makes you wonder, is there, like, what is the universe? Is it?
Yeah. Wow.
Now here comes the reason for my email today. So today I listened to Helm's Deep, one of my favorite chapters in the whole series, right up there with the Bridge of Khazad-dûm. I haven't read Lord of the Rings since receiving my archaeology degree. Again, Luke, this is amazing. You're freaking Indiana Jones, bro.
I know.
So it'd be like if Indy was staring down that swordsman and he was like, give me a minute. Instead of just reaching out the gun and shooting him, he was like, give me a second. And he puts in an earbud and it's our voices. That's exactly what this is making me think.
Yeah.
So he hasn't read since receiving his archaeology degree. So a moment popped out to me for the first time ever as you guys analyze the history of the fortification. I'm paraphrasing, but the passage says that men say in far-off days of the glory of Gondor, the Sea Kings, built here this vastness with the hands of giants. Comparatively, the Anglo-Saxons found archaeological remains in Britain long after the fall of the Roman Empire, and they also said that giants must have built them. They couldn't comprehend how humans could do it alone. I'm thinking even like, Stonehenge and stuff like that. You'd come across and be like, what the crap?
Yeah.
We do that today with modern
Well,
technology.
now hold on. That's ancient aliens. That's not Roman Empire. Let's get this clear, okay?
Oh, right.
I'm just kidding.
So, actually, dude, I meant to tell you, there is a new body shop in Lancaster that opened up. It's called Area 51. Do they have Element 151?
We're going.
Or whatever it is? I don't know.
Yeah.
So, yeah, can you fix my spaceship? It's what I call my van. So why is Tolkien including this about Helm's Deep or slash the Hornburg? To me, it seems that Tolkien is attempting to show the decline of the third age of Middle Earth while also elevating how amazing the second age would have been. With this logic, Helm's Deep was not in fact built with the help of giants. Rather, the Numenorean technologies, this is very interesting. So again, it's sort of more, it's like semantics, honestly, of architecture and weaponry and many other such skills have been thoroughly forgotten, even to the point that people in the Third Age can't contemplate that humans could build such incredible things. The Second Age was the peak of Roman Britain. The Third Age was the Dark Ages, a term we no longer use in the field, but you get my meaning. Very interesting, because we even talked about just sort of in a different respect the disconnectedness to like the gods, right?
Yeah.
The disconnection, like the closest you get is when they look to the stars.
Right.
That's their connection to any other ethereal beings that might be playing a role in what's going on. So even that's very, very awesome connection by Luke. Despite the negativity that this interpretation aims at the Third Age, the result of the series does speak to the heart and courage of the peoples of the Third Age. So not the achievements of these buildings and technology, but what people accomplish, and how incredible the achievement of destroying the ring of the Second Age supervillain truly is.
Yeah.
Best, Luke the Sherd Nerd. Luke, that was amazing.
I like that.
Again, I love it too when people work in like theories to their Tolkien stories. It doesn't happen often, but when it does happen, it's cool. It's like a 2-for-1. You've got like a commentary on something that's pertaining to the story, as well as their own personal experience. That was great, Luke.
Yeah, because I think that fits really well, right? I mean, like with
what he does.
We're thinking we've been talking recently about like Numenorean technology, and like imagine if it's. Wouldn't that kind of shock us if we went and we saw features and structures that were way bigger and way more advanced, like. Maybe some of it's been destroyed and there's ruins that are gone that are completely just.
To me, it seems so arrogant that we think that we're the pinnacle. And this is something that I like. My dad has helped me realize. Like I never would have thought of this before. He's like, why do we think that we're the most technologically, or like maybe we made it this far on a certain branch, but maybe there was another branch that went even farther that was lost knowledge, right? Think about the myth of Atlantis. If you go to the Bible says that in the age of Noah, civilization was more advanced than we are today. You have the Tower of Babel. Tower of Babel,
man.
Where there was one tongue among human beings, at least according to the scriptures, right? And it was like there was nothing that was impossible for them.
Yeah.
If there was nothing that was impossible for them, how can we think that we are? I don't know. I mean, I understand both sides of it, but it's just very interesting to think why. Because think about it. Like, there's this idea that we are like one solar storm away from being in the 1800s.
Yeah.
It happens every few hundred years, but the only difference in society now is that we have so much of our connection and part of our daily lives is dependent on technology, on satellites, and on cell towers. And if we got hit by this solar flare storm or whatever, it would knock all those completely out. Yep. And then what are you telling me, like, most people would be able to just, carry on, no problem? No, there would be like mass hysteria, and there would be a huge like panic and lack of communication, and who knows? I mean, I think we'd survive, obviously, but it'd be a different existence until everything could be fixed by a small amount of people who actually know how to do that stuff. Like,
yeah. Here's something that you said that's interesting. So people say that the Empire State Building or these different buildings, tallest building in the world.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How do we know that? Well, it's
How
the
do we
tallest
know?
ever. It's the tallest ever.
Yeah.
Well, the old tower. I mean, this tower was going up to see God. Tower of Babel. All right, they were going up to see the boss himself. I mean,
I know. I love when they show the Tower of Babel. They always like find this old image of like a stone tower that's like 5 feet tall or something.
It's like,
how do we know? Like, how do we know okay, so you have two schools of thought. It's like it's a biblical story. It's supposed to teach us a lesson, or it's true. It's one or the other, right? Or maybe it's a little bit of both. I don't know. And if God's freaking out, man, it's a pretty tall tower, right? Like, if God is freaking out,
they're almost here.
If God's like, oh shoot, I hear him knocking on the bottom door. Bottom Earth is coming into Middle Earth. I better
People are like, guys,
is there any
seriously?
redemption? Is there any redemption for me now in my soul? I don't know. Maybe.
I was about. It's a comedy podcast, okay, guys. But no, it's the other thing too. And people think I'm crazy, but I mean, I'm telling you right now. The Wright brothers were not the first ones to fly.
No way, because you want to know why? I've been wanting to talk to you about this, and this is Luke. You know what? I don't even care.
Thanks, Luke.
I'm not making any apologies because Luke is probably geeking out on this real.
Well, he's
hard.
also shaking his head, going, "Fellas, come on."
He's going like, "Guys, I took classes on this. I'm done. This is the nail in the coffin for Luke." He's like, "I'm not listening anymore.
I'm done. They're talking ancient alien stuff. I'm out of here, man."
Like, this discredits everything else they've ever said that I found interesting. But like, okay, so I've been meaning to tell you about this. Like, it's insane. I mean, all over ancient civilizations from all over North America had these. But, dude, there are so many, like, within 10 or 15 minutes drive of Amanda. I mean, I know that they're in Newark as well, but like, there are some. I have this old map of Ohio, and there are even more than I realized. There's like 5 minutes from here, there is a mound called the Tarleton Cross. Okay, a cross, whatever. That's not that hard. Why is there a serpent mound? As I thought about like taking the girls to go see the serpent mound, and then I'm like, how stupid is that? You'd have to be in the sky to see the serpent.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to see it.
And then I thought to myself, there's a thought. If you have to be able to be in the sky to make out what it is, they were in the sky somehow.
They were in the sky. Get out.
Why else? I'm not going to make a pie to throw it in the trash. Is that a good analogy? I'm not going to go in there and bust my butt to make a delicious blueberry pie to go, and put it in the trash. I'm not going to make something, sweat over something, measure things out, bake it for an hour just to never taste it. In the same way, I don't think you're building these mounds all over North America for them to never really be seen.
Yeah.
They don't look like anything from the ground. You have to be up high to see what they are.
Yep. Let me tell you. Let me drive the nail in the whatever we're driving this into. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Okay, all right.
There were primitive Ewoks that had hang gliders.
True.
If those guys can get on hang gliders and just take off on a cliff, see the land, I'm telling you, it's doable.
To tie into that, in a galaxy within this county, there's a Snoke Road.
That's weird. That's pretty wild, actually.
Snoke Road. So you tell me how far away this galaxy really is and how long ago it really was, or is it in the future?
Yeah.
Oh, as I was also thinking about, so Luke is just going to love this. Luke is going to freak out. So we've had this Mars rover landing thing, right? And you can cut this out if you want. Go ahead, put it.
No.
I see what you're doing. So everyone, not everyone, but there's this big movement to go colonize Mars. That we think if life is going to extend, we have to go colonize the universe, right? We have to go to Mars, populate it, because our planet's dying. But we also have this theory that like there was life once on Mars. What if we are here because we left Mars? Yeah. Mars was dying. Has this been said?
No, I'm sure
it has, but I'd never heard it anywhere, and it came to my mind. I'm like, we're trying to get back to Mars. What if we freaking left Mars because it was dying? Yep. And now it's been so long, and we've forgotten that's where we came from. But we destroyed that planet. We had a second chance on Earth, and here we are thinking we got to go back.
Crazy, man. It's crazy.
That's for you, Luke. Luke, you just inspired us.
Yeah, thanks, Luke. Yeah. Oh gosh. All right. Well, we're gonna we got more obviously, but we're gonna save some of these just because time and
wow.
And we've got connection.
You can't hang or something?
Well, I'm just I'm worried about the old we're running on a fragile connection here, so I'm just
Are we really? Do I need to
No, you're good. You're good. Don't touch a thing. Do not touch a thing. Okay. Don't move. Actually, I thought Lane actually froze at one point, and I thought he was messing with me. I was like, "Wow, you really kept that up." And then I kept talking to him for like 2 minutes, and I was like, "Lane, it's gig's up, man. Come on, like it's over."
Okay.
And
I'll get right into it. We do have a couple riddles. This is the sad thing, though. I think these are the last ones. We need more riddles, guys, girls, ladies, gentlemen. Please send us riddles. Maybe no one likes this segment. I thought it was pretty cool. Anyway,
yeah.
We have riddles from Billy Mortensen himself, Todd Robbins, our beautiful friend from the state of Rohan. And I don't think we're going to get them. He sent us 2. Okay.
All right.
Here's the first one. I have not seen the answers yet. All right.
Okay.
I have seas without water. I have forests without wood. I have deserts without sand. I have houses with no brick. What am I?
Seas without water.
Yeah.
I'm thinking a letter C.
Okay. That's cool. I like that.
It's got no water in it, though. It's got no water in it.
No.
And then we've got a forest with no trees.
Yeah. Wait, have we done this one already?
No.
Okay, good. All right.
No. Forest with no trees.
No. Yeah, forest without wood. Forest without wood. Not no trees.
Oh, without wood?
Yeah. I think I know what this is, and I can't remember if I accidentally saw the answer or if I'm just elevated.
Wow. Just Enochian. Look out now. Enochian stuff's coming back.
I just ascended planes, man. I'm on the 3rd plane, and like my mom was from that one, and oh, dude, she was the most beautiful alien you'd ever seen, man. Like my dad, he could not keep it. He could not keep his, like his little soldier in its place, man. My mom was the best, most beautiful alien anyone's ever seen, man.
So your Enochian self is coming out, and you're realizing,
I'm up there. I'm way up. As the kids say, I'm way up, dude.
Yeah, I don't know what they say anymore. Even though, what? Tell me the answer. I don't know. What's this one's tough.
I think so. I have seas without water. I have forests without wood. I have deserts without sand. I have houses with no brick. What am I? I think it's a map.
Oh, really?
I think it's a map because it would have all those things.
Yeah,
you would
yeah,
have
yeah.
C's.
Yeah.
It's a drawing. Now, the only thing I'm a little stumped on is the houses with no brick. You don't typically have houses on a map.
Lane.
You can, but what? What? No, you
Absolutely,
don't.
you do. Absolutely.
Do you?
Castles,
Before-
keeps. You know,
Yeah, okay,
bricks.
that's a pretty solid. That's a pretty.
I'm just kidding.
That's
Houses is different, I guess.
That's a solid point. You have to be a jerk.
I mean,
about
Bag
it, but-
End is on a map. You know, like.
Thanks so much.
All right.
All
Cool.
right, I guess I should unveil it here and see.
Yeah. What we got? What do we got?
Well, it's whited out, and I can't tell, so I'm gonna copy and paste it to the doc.
Okay.
This is fun. Okay, this is great radio, by the way. Okay, let me just put it in here.
Good Lord.
Dead air. A map.
A map. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Okay. I think I cheated. I think I saw that one, dude.
You know what? It's fine.
You'll give it to me. I don't. So maybe I'm not ascending, man. I don't know. All right, let's do our next one.
Yeah.
Never was, I am always to be. No one ever saw me, nor ever will. And yet I give confidence to all who live and breathe on this terrestrial ball. What am I? I think we've done these.
I think I know this one. I don't know about the map. I did not know the map one. You know what's going to be embarrassing is if we've done the map one and I didn't remember it and I still didn't know the answer.
Is it more embarrassing that, or is it more embarrassing that I think I'm so smart and knew it?
Well,
it's equally pretty
they're
bad.
equally pretty bad, yeah.
All we know is Luke is never listening to this podcast ever again.
Ever again.
We've totally just
sorry, Luke.
drained it, yeah.
But this one, do you know what it is? I think I know what the answer is.
I think I do too.
On the count of three, we're going to say it. Ready?
1,
2, 3. Tomorrow.
Pumpkins.
Wow.
Okay, you say tomorrow. I was thinking future. The future. Never was. I am always to be. No one ever saw me, nor ever will. We never really see the future because it's the present.
Yeah.
Yet I give confidence to all. We always hope for the future.
Yep.
Future's bright. Future's bright.
Yeah, cool, Elaine. You picked a better word than I did. It's fine. You know, whatever. Okay.
It might be tomorrow.
No, it's the future. Shut your mouth. You just shut your mouth when you're talking to me over there, fella.
That stupid guy with the bald head is just remembering answering it previously. He's a really big idiot.
Oh, God.
I'm totally doing a Gaffigan thing there.
I know you are. I know. The future.
The future.
Nice job.
I think we've done that. I think we've done those. Anyway. Thank you.
Honestly, if we have,
I
do not remember them, Lane. I, for the life of me, do not remember them, dude. You know why? Because it's 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And I don't remember. Sometimes my eyes, if you guys go watch the video, are bloodshot. You can't really tell that. Bloodshot.
Yeah.
Like a vampire over here.
I like how you just said, if you go watch the video, you guys, you'll be able to see my eyes are bloodshot. You can't really tell. like that was just a plug for people to go watch the video. I love it.
Yeah, just watch it. Subscribe while you're there too.
All right, that's Riddles in the Dark. At this point, we're in the dark. Please send us some more and unexpectedpod@gmail.com. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to go hunt up riddles with answers whited out, and I'm sort of afraid.
Can I ask you one riddle before we go?
Yeah.
Just one riddle.
Yeah.
Why did the spider live in the forest?
Why did the spider live in the forest?
Yeah.
Why did the spider live in the forest?
Let me tell you.
No, I think I got it. Spider live.
Full circle here.
What is that, a hint?
Yeah, it's a hint.
Because it had a nice ring to it?
Wow.
I don't think that's
but that you brought in a ring reference, and so anytime you can weave that in to an answer, I'm impressed.
So that's now the right answer?
That's now correct.
Okay.
You are correct. The real answer is because no one cares. Like Radagast.
It doesn't matter what your name is, you jabroni.
Like, oh gosh, yeah, good, yeah. That's a sick hoodie you're wearing there, by the way.
Oh man,
Real
that's
good
amazing.
hoodie.
Oh,
Yeah.
You got to get yourself one.
I need me one.
Maybe I'll get you one.
All right, that sounds good. I like that.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, it's just full circle. I mean, despite why do they live there? Probably because Galadriel doesn't care. Probably because Radagast doesn't care. I mean, I'm sorry I normally don't throw my own order under the.
I know.
It's just I'm frustrated that the
cart,
spiders are there. I'm frustrated.
It's sort of like, I don't know, like what's with the apathy? Like, are we gonna save this world or not? Like, okay, so you get to be Miss Smarty Pants and you get to be Mr. Brown Hat. Really? If you're not saving the world, I don't think so. Give me your brown hat and give me your Smarty Pants. You don't deserve them anymore.
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore.
Yeah, I don't know if I really do either, but it sounded sort of like sassy, so I thought
That was good.
I'd put it out there.
All right.
How can friends share the load, my friend?
Hey guys, we appreciate you sending in the Tolkien stories. We really do. At an unexpected podcast. An unexpectedpod at gmail.com.
Wow.
You can send those in. Wow. Feels like it's been a couple months since we've had this podcast on the air.
Kind of sounds like you're going native to me.
Going native. Somebody's going.
That's Reddit
it's
lingo.
what they were saying
getting
in Reddit
complacent.
I have no idea what it even means.
Yeah.
Watch her go find out. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Did you freeze again over there? Did you freeze? Oh, you're there.
I don't think so. I was just turning my head. Jeez.
You stayed
Why don't
still.
you continue your bit and your plug? Can you do that?
So, guys,
do
we
I need
love
to write
you.
lines for you?
We love you guys. Thanks for stopping by, listening.
Yeah.
I always say to folks,
Thanks for stopping by.
If you listen to the end of these episodes, I don't know how you got here,
or why you're here, but thank God you're here.
Thank you, thank Iluvatar that you're here, because
if you're here at the rear of this episode,
somebody get Bombur out of the creek. I mean,
go clean your. Here's a phrase. If you're here at the rear, go clean your ear.
Wow. Okay.
It's just
dirty.
It's a bunch of crap.
Oh, okay, guys. All right, seriously. Thank you so much. You can follow us on Instagram. Like all the good stuff for updates, and then Facebook page is there. All that stuff is fantastic. We appreciate all the support. Send in your stories. Leave a review on the podcast. That's it, my friend.
We don't do social media, but go check out our social media.
Yes,
Fortnite farewells. We want to thank you for taking a really, really dark hike with us. The forests have eyes in a way. In a fort time, we'll be making an elven prison break. In Chapter 9, Barrels Out of Bond, James Bond.
And that's good, by the way. I think we should say in a fort time.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, because
I don't know what you're doing.
I think it's time for us to fully embrace the name of our podcast. We were always searching for a name, right? We gotta find a name for this podcast. It's called an unexpected podcast.
Wow.
So be careful as we fully embrace that name here. So
embrace.
All right, friends. With that, if you like this podcast, please don't forget to subscribe, like us, write a review, leave a comment, or send us a Shadowfax.
We'll see you in a fort time. And remember, Bilbo knows.
Was I whistling all by myself?
I cut out. There's something going on with my audio. I don't know what it is.
You let me just whistle on my own. It was the weakest whistle I've ever had in my life.
It sounded like I cut out partially my audio, but it sounded like really long and tremolo. It sounded great.
Okay.
Like you were showing off or something.